All right, welcome back to the Smash Cut Podcast. I'm Matt Grayson. This is Blake Hammer. Blake, let's hear another summary.
Hell yeah, dude. And Matt, I finally got myself a wireless mouse, so these summaries are going to be a lot quicker and a lot smoother. Anyway, this week, Matt Damon is Colin, a cop who is really a mob spy. Leonardo DiCaprio is Billy, a mob guy who's really an undercover cop. And Jack Nicholson is Frank, who is really just a crazy motherfucker. Colin and Billy play a cat and mouse game as both of them try to discover the other one's identities. This chase leads both men to situations where they falsely assume control, and Frank to a shit ton of hookers and blow. This is The Departed.
Hell yeah. That I would say that was fairly accurate, cover most of the main details of the movie. Probably don't even have to watch the movie if you heard that summary.
I
Save you
mean,
2.5 hours.
yeah, I I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I have a feeling that we're both going to rank the movie pretty highly. So this movie's 2.5 hours long, and we probably have 5 hours worth of shit to say about it. So we're going to condense it into a 2 hour podcast.
Yeah. Well, getting right into my opening question, I was wondering how you thought. So, Daphne from the previous movie, Some Like It Hot, who was a man, I think a saxophonist, pretending to be a woman in order to hide from the mob. So, not really that far off from this movie.
Yeah.
If Daphne was to instead infiltrate the mob, sort of like Billy Costigan, rather
Yeah.
than run from it, how do you think she would fare?
I think she would not even make it into the initial meeting with Costello. I think that meeting where Billy's drinking cranberry juice and the guy's like, "What are you, a woman?" and starts beating the shit out of him, her voice would instantly be recognizable as a man. It's like, "What is this, a transvestite?" And he probably would have beat her to death in the middle of the bar. And then I think we have a movie that's a lot more like the Laramie Project than what we actually saw. So,
So not
yeah,
well.
I would say probably within the first attempt at getting in. Also, if she somehow survived and made it into the gang, as soon as they were shooting, she would stand in the middle in plain sight of all the gangsters and be like, "Oh my goodness, heavens to Betsy!" So yeah, I think she would do pretty fucking bad.
All right. Well, fair enough. So getting back into the actual movie we're talking about, the I think the this is like basically a nearly perfect movie, and the opening scene is sort of a good symbol of that, with showing all the violence in Boston, and then the opening monologue of Jack Nicholson, which he comes right out the gate with the slurs.
He
And
comes in
does not
hot,
stop.
dude. I feel like there was some sort of production bingo, like, "Hey Jack, how many of these 30 slurs can you say in the scene?" And he's like, "Hold my beer, guys." And he went for it. He uses a racial epithet to refer to the black community, and he says if they
That's
were
one
like
way of
the
saying it.
yeah, they were like the mix, they would have taken control and gotten the president. And I thought it was funny because 2 years later, Obama was elected.
Damn, he wasn't a very forward thinking guy, it seems.
Nope.
But I did like I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. That's a beast line, dude.
Unironically, may have been the perfect high school yearbook quote.
Yeah, low key actually. I mean, as long as you don't put who you're attributing it to,
You could just
it's
say Jack Nicholson.
yeah, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, I mean, my high school yearbook quote was a random quote by a rapper whose name starts with Lil. So, I mean, I love Lil Uzi, but I don't know if that quote's going to necessarily age well.
Yeah, I mine wasn't all that interesting, and it was what was I forget their name, but it was a quote by a writer. Oh, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and the person who I texted it to somehow wrote it in the yearbook wrong. I was like, bro, I literally texted you the quote. How do you get this wrong? But
Well,
anyway,
I think what the worst possible yearbook quote from that scene would be, besides the obvious ones, is when Frank walks into the convenience store and he goes, "You get your period yet, Carmen?"
yeah, that probably just out no context whatsoever. It's literally just you get your period yet? Question mark. Everyone who's reading is like, what the fuck? that was one of the things I wrote down was that he's just like out the gate using slurs and is creepy as fuck to that guy's daughter, who also just sort of like stands there and is just like, meh.
That girl, I think, is at most 14 too, and he's like hitting
Yeah.
on her.
And then he
Jack
gives what's his face? Matt Damon's like kid
Colin.
character, who I did think, great choice of a kid actor.
I was
Like
gonna say looked a lot like Matt Damon.
yeah, it gives him like a whole bunch of free shit and a free Wolverine comic. And I was like, all the food is great, but free Wolverine comic, sign me up for the mob. I'm ready to go, dude.
I mean, dude, there's a reason Frank had a whole squad of little rascals working for him.
Yeah. If you were offered some free loaves of bread and a Wolverine comic, would you have joined in with his gang?
At 8, yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know what the mob was at that time. I just be like, damn, this guy's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
He has money and he likes comic books.
I did think that they were trying to set like Matt Damon up as sort of a sympathetic antagonist,
Yeah,
and then the rest of the movie just did not do that.
I mean, you can definitely see he's going through it the whole movie, but the thing is, anytime something like shitty happens with him, something like 5 times worse happens to Billy.
Yeah.
And there's several scenes where I noted this down, but like half the scenes that DiCaprio is in this movie, he just looks like someone told him that his dog died. He looks so like distraught in almost
Well,
every
he,
scene,
he looks like
including
someone
moments where it's not like that bad.
he looks like someone told him his dog died and he's next. Like
Yeah.
he's like sad and paranoid at the same time. There's one scene where he's talking to what's it, Madeline?
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, like the fact you're continuing this conversation is a very bad sign for your ability to read people as a therapist. Like
I
that
mean,
dude
he read
literally
her.
looks like he just killed somebody and you're just
Well, he
having
did.
coffee with him.
Yeah, DiCaprio behind the scenes said that the way that he played this character was like someone was having a 24-hour panic attack.
Yeah, that seems about right. Meanwhile, Francis, who is Jack Nicholson's mob character, he's just living it up in this movie.
I
Like
mean, Frank is the boy.
almost the opening, not the opening scene of him, but one of them is him shooting that lady and just being like, she fell funny.
Yeah, literally, he's like, these guineas can't bother us, and then it's just him shooting 2 random people, including a woman, in the middle of an airport field. They
Yeah,
they waste no time trying to make him look like just the absolute worst guy ever.
and French is like, Francis, you really should see somebody. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's pretty chill.
Oh yeah, dude.
He's
I
letting Frank know.
I mean, the another just banger quote from Frank in that scene. I will say there are a lot of great quotes in this movie that I'll probably bring up throughout the pod. Frank, in terms of a ratio, like he had a very good ratio of lines to quotable lines. Half his lines that were quotable I couldn't even write down because they have words in them that aren't allowed in YouTube. But he had a lot of bangers in this movie, and some of his shit is just funny because it's just cartoonishly racist and offensive, but some of his shit low key is like deep. Like, I mean, you obviously said the environment line, and then in the same scene, he goes, the church told us we could be cops or criminals. When you're facing a loaded gun, what's the difference? I was like,
Yeah, I wrote that whole thing down.
low key true, dude.
I was like, that's an excellent line. Also, I noticed, I thought at first it was something with the lighting on my TV, but I think it was purposeful, which is that Jack Nicholson is sort of shrouded in darkness in every scene. Like they don't put a bunch of light on him in every scene he'd been in up until he leans into the light and says, "What's the difference?" And then after that, it's just sort of normal. But I thought that was like a neat little build up thing they did for him. And like cutting from that to Matt Damon being all grown up and him and
Yeah.
Costigan, like, going to the academy. Costigan looks like a fucking nerd the way he's filling out that test, I gotta say. But Matt Damon, they immediately establish is just the most annoying, whiny prick on the planet. When he's like, fucking firemen, a bunch of homos, a bunch of queers, like just out of the
Yeah.
gate.
He
Um,
he goes very hard, very fast with some homophobic slurs. I mean, I think his opening scene, or as an adult, or at least the second or third time he's shown on camera, is him in the game against the firemen, and
Yep.
I think maybe the first line he says as an adult is "Go save a kid in a tree, you fucking homos."
Yeah, yeah. I will say, like, that was all dumb, but the one part where he's like, "Yeah, they're gonna get pussy for the first time in the history of firemen or pussy," I was like, "All right, that's a pretty good
That's
burn
just
there, dude."
ridiculous, dude. Like, I mean, think about it.
Also, they're
Like,
firemen. Like,
they're
what are you talking
yeah,
about? Yeah, they're probably doing great.
one of the most common male stripper outfits is a fireman. It's not
Yeah.
like they were playing a team of janitors or plumbers. Like,
I
come on, man.
so I it did lead me to a good question for you, which is how long, if ever, did it take you to figure out that Matt Damon's character is supposed to be gay?
So I actually was going to bring this up as one of the theories around the movie. I think this one is 60% he's gay, but I'll touch on throughout the pod, I do think there is an argument to be made that he's just under so much pressure and stress for seemingly the first time in his life that he literally has given himself mental ED. That I actually think that there is a strong, because at first it was like he's gay, and then I was like, wait, that's the obvious take. What could be the
I don't know
second
if that
level
would be
take
an
here?
obvious take.
Well,
Otherwise, they
if
would
you're
have.
gonna make a judgment on that, I think that would be the first instinct. But my read of the situation is actually just that he gave himself ED and his dick does not work.
I think they made so many references to it that it would be almost stupid if he wasn't gay, because he's like comically homophobic. He
It's
acts
Boston though.
he yeah, but
Everyone
he
is
but as in
homophobic.
but as in like more than anyone else around him.
I mean,
Also,
Dignam is
every
pretty
time
homophobic.
he's like acting super like flirtatious or into women,
Yeah.
he looks to make sure a man is watching, and if nobody's watching, he doesn't act like that at all. And the fact that his dick doesn't work with Madeline, which is crazy because she's hot, and the fact that he's clearly only going after her as like a status symbol to match Alec Baldwin's speech. Like it seems a lot more leaning towards, and also like lines like him being like, "Oh, I gotta find myself," and Jack Nicholson being like, "You're telling me." Uh,
I mean, my only counterpoint to that is I have been around a lot of wealthy, high status people I've met. And maybe this is just the ones I met, but I feel like they, on average, have a much lower sex drive than like a blue collar worker and shit. Like, they're into like some weird shit. And I feel like, I don't know, dude. I think it's like, I could see him just being a low T guy. Because the thing is too, like, I see all the points you're saying, but there's never a moment in the movie where it's like his relationship with the other mole character is beyond platonic, or like he's saying things that indicate that he likes men. It's just him not being into women.
yeah, like I think the writers
Maybe
are
he's
good, so it's
asexual.
subtle.
Maybe,
That's possible. Maybe he's only into the lady from Goldfinger, or yeah, not Goldeneye, Goldfinger, who turns into gold. Like he's always staring at that golden roof. Maybe
yeah.
he's just thinking of a giant gold titty.
Or maybe he just needs some blue chew, dude.
Yeah, that's possible. What did you think about the gold roof thing? What did you think that represented?
The gold, I'm not gonna lie, that was a detail I missed.
He's just
Oh,
always
the
looking at
Capitol
that.
building. Oh,
Yeah, with the gold roof.
I mean, I think to me that represented kind of his like ideal, which is that he's kind of a wealthy lawman. And I mean, he is wealthy, but the fact that he's staring out at the gold roof and not in the building with the gold roof, it's like he's never really going to be that, because even though he is technically a police officer, his boss will always kind of be the mob.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
All right. Well, I thought just to quickly touch on that, I thought it sort of represented the upward mobility that he's looking for and like the social status he's getting at. But what I'm more interested in talking about is Billy Costigan's buddy from the Academy,
oh yeah.
telling the story about how he's finally going to get a blowjob once he graduates from the Academy, and then DiCaprio's like, "Oh, your mother must be a wonderful woman."
Yeah, and then I don't remember what the exchange next couple lines are, but it ends with DiCaprio saying, "You're a black guy in Boston. You don't need any help from me to be completely fucked."
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, that's so true, dude. What other, and for all the massholes watching this, riddle me this. What other American city within the past 15 years has screamed the N-word at a rival player in a sports game? Hint, it's the city you live in. It's Boston. Which city only embraces white athletes or the whitest black guys ever? It's Boston. I actually think Boston is probably the most racist American city. And yeah, I also
You think it beats like deep Mississippi or like Missouri?
okay, of like states, cities that people actually like live in, like 250,000 plus people.
Yeah.
I think
I
Boston
don't even know
is
what the
head and
capital
shoulders.
of Missouri is, so I couldn't go with that one. But
I want to say Columbia, but I might just be pulling that out of
no,
my
see, that's in
ass.
South America, but close.
No, dude, Columbia's a city.
I'm
I'm about to
fucking with you.
embarrass you, Matt.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be heartbroken if you're able to Google what the, the capital city is.
You're about to be embarrassed. It's Jefferson City. I was wrong.
Oh boy. All
Oh,
right. Well,
fuck.
so while they're graduating, this is one of the first scenes where I was like, that I wrote down. It was not frequent, but a kind of recurring bit of Costello being kind of terrible at being a mob boss. Dude just shows up to the Stades graduation
Well, he's
and
working with
pulls
the
like,
FBI.
yeah, but like not the Stades. Like he pulls up right in front of their graduation, and then Matt Damon walks over and gets into his car. Like it doesn't even have tinted windows. Literally, the entire state police force of that year could see him get in the car with Costello.
I mean, dude, my counterpoint to that is if you have guys like Dignam in the senior ranks of the state police force, I don't think Costello has much to worry about.
Dude, what do you mean? Dignam was the boy.
I also love how as soon as Colin gets in the car, Frank just goes, "School's out." No more teachers, no
No,
more books.
no more pencils, no more books. Yep,
Yeah.
he says it in such like a weirdly excited way.
He's like, it's just like everything he does is like just like quietly menacing, where like
Yeah,
he's just saying ridiculous stuff, but it's like, oh wait, this guy kills people.
yeah. He's got a strange vibe to him. There's so skipping forward a little bit when we have Mark Wahlberg, Dignam's introduction. One
Yeah.
of the stronger character introductions I think of all time. Like you immediately recognize that he's an asshole, but also probably like I don't know. He doesn't give off like bad guy, but he does immediately establish himself as an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the Mark Wahlberg was nominated for an Oscar for this role. And I think that might be the least deserved Oscar nomination of all time because he had to put exactly zero effort into playing a asshole from Massachusetts with a thick Boston accent
Yeah,
who's also kind of racist. Like that wasn't
basically
really
just played himself.
yeah, that was basically them just saying, okay, we're going to call this character Dignam, and then you can act exactly how you would have if this was 1988.
He also had so few lines in this movie that like I can't imagine. I don't know how was he the only person in this movie to get an Oscar nom or just one of because almost everybody else I feel like did a better job than him.
I honestly don't know. I just saw that his character got an
Okay,
Oscar
because
nom.
like I would say literally every other main character in this movie would be more deserving of an Oscar than he would. Not that he did like poorly or anything, but I don't know. It was a very like
Okay, so there was nominations for Best Picture, Best Director. I think it won Best Picture actually. Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Film Editing, and Best Supporting Actor. Um, and then
so he is the only person to get.
I I'm not 100% sure of that because there may have been multiple people from this movie who were nominated, but a quick search of my brain, aka Wikipedia, reveals that he was the only person from this movie nominated, which I think is a bit of an odd choice. I did read that DiCaprio was not nominated for this movie because the studio already wanted him to have the Best Actor nom for Blood Diamond, which was released the same year, and they didn't want him kind of competing against himself or campaigning against this movie with that movie. But
That's kind of
yeah,
crazy. I would say his performance in this is way better than Blood Diamond.
I will say if I were to nominate any actor from this movie, I actually would have nominated Jack Nicholson.
Or I would say him or DiCaprio. I thought they both put in a hell of a lot more work than Dignam. But anyway, like when Dignam first is in that thing and he's like, "Yeah, you rise quick," and he's like a
Like a
12-year
year
old's
old
dick. It's like, dude, what? Like, why is it the first thing that comes to your head? That was like one of his first lines.
Another one of his first lines, which is just comically ignorant, is he goes, 1400 on your SAT. What are you, a fucking astronaut?
Or no, he's like, you're an astronaut, not a statey. I was like, dude, by that logic, I should be like captain of the astronauts.
Also, the amount of people who get that score, does he think that like there's like 800,000 people in NASA?
I also like how the scene that, so it's switching, it's like the first instance of switching between, or I guess the school was the first instance, but
Yeah.
this is another of switching between Costigan and Sullivan's, Damon and DiCaprio's different lives, and
Yeah.
they're both trying to get into the Stadies. And that is one fun thing from this movie. This movie is the only reason that I pretty much exclusively refer to state police officers as Stadies, because I thought that was just everyone said that up until I was older and realized that it's more of like a Massachusetts and like New Hampshire thing, but it just stuck. But anyway, it's switching between them, and in
Yeah.
order to show that like he's fancier than Costigan, Costigan's wearing like khaki pants, and that's like the only change.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of funny that like in 2006 that was like an instant marker that he was poor.
Yeah. What would have been the fancy person dress of the time then?
I mean, Colin's just wearing a matching gray suit, so I guess he's not really like
I guess it's just that he doesn't have a suit.
a matching one. Yeah, it's just a
I
blazer. I assume that's supposed to be the intention, but like it just seems so silly. Like I feel like, I don't know, I've worn beige pants with a blazer to work before, and no one's ever been like, "Wow, really dressing down today, huh? Casual Friday."
I mean, I think the biggest indicator that Billy, played by DiCaprio, is just absolute white trash are his tattoos. He has like I believe what's supposed to be a Celtic cross, and then the classic
shamrock, I think.
Something along those lines, and then the classic white trash thing of just like a random shape pattern that doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah.
They both look terrible. I will say, whoever his tattoo artist is did a really shitty job on him.
I like that he's the only person to really push back on Dignam in like an actual way. I mean, later Sullivan has his little temper tantrum with him, but which we'll get to. But he actually pushes back on him, like, "Yeah, I think I could do without your fucking resume or whatever." To
Yeah.
Dignam. And I like Dignam being like, "Do you know what we do? Oh yeah, I think I have a good idea." "No, you have no fucking idea, because if you did, we would be cunts. Are you calling this cunts?" I was like, damn, dude. I would have been like, "Yes, you specifically. I'm calling a cunt."
One of my favorite things about this movie is the fact that literally every single character in the movie, except for I think Queenland, cannot solve problems or handle a disagreement without resorting to violence.
Yeah.
I think they get in an altercation in this scene. Dignam gets in a few altercations in the movie before he ultimately shoots someone at the end. Colin gets into many altercations. Frank and his guys, more understandably, are getting into altercations, but even Alec Baldwin at one point just punches a camera operator in the face.
Yeah. I loved that bit. Would you hang out with Dignam? Would you get him in the blunt circle?
I would say I did not write him down as one of the main characters to hang out with, but I would say no, because I think he's an asshole and would probably start a fight. And I don't know how many times I could hear jokes about my mom giving him a blowjob or me giving someone else a blowjob before I snapped on him. Would you?
No, I immediately he pissed me off, but like in a way where it's because he was written really well as an asshole. Like he
Yeah.
didn't annoy me as a character, but yeah, in real life that dude would be kind of insufferable.
I mean, it's not hard for me to dislike Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, well,
They
there's
picked a
also
good
that.
actor for the role.
And this is also one of the first bits where you really see that like DiCaprio is sort of dragging himself up from his
Yeah.
beginnings, like piece by piece, whereas Matt Damon, like, I guess kind of did that by working for the mob, but it's more like he's having everything sort of lined up for him and handed to him, whereas DiCaprio is literally scraping his way to the top while being told he's not like ever going to get there.
I was gonna say I don't think the family I don't think the movie goes into too much detail about Sullivan's family. I think they're somewhat working class, but it also seemingly is implied from the first grocery exchange that Costello is essentially just kind of laying down the path for him piece by piece, and basically realizes with his gang of little rascals that like he can have these people grow up and like
And be
become useful
cops.
for him as long as he basically just does all the hard parts of their life for him.
He can get an
Uh,
officer alfalfa.
yeah, dude. I'd like to see that movie. But on the other hand, DiCaprio, like they establish his entire family except for his dad is are just low lifes, criminals, bookies, drug dealers, the whole nine. I don't know if what his uncle Edward's specific deal was, but I just remember writing down that he seemed like a prick in the hospital.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like you should ask yourself some questions.
Yeah,
Like, have I been a cunt to my dying
yeah.
sister or whatever? Those were all
Is my
great.
wife a money grubbing whore?
Yeah, that one was classic.
Yeah, that's good
I
shit.
when they what's it called when Damon gets promoted right at the gate. I
Yeah.
thought it was first of all I thought it was funny him being an asshole to that other cop that you later learn is also undercover. So it's
Oh
kind of like
yeah.
they have like a mini rivalry, but it's I don't know. I thought that they wrote that scene to set up like them having sort of a weird goddamn relationship throughout the movie, but it never really turns into anything. But when he's buying the apartment, this is yet another point towards him being gay when he's like, are you a married state police detective? And he's like, no. Well, this is kind of a big house. I have a cosigner. He's like, oh, you tend to have a house guest. That's cool. And it's like clearly the real estate dude thinks that he's got like a boyfriend
See,
that's
dude,
helping him with it.
to play devil's advocate, I don't think he wanted him reading too much into the cosigner because I think Frank is the
Well, no, no shit. I'm saying that
cosigner.
that's why he didn't. I'm not saying that's why he said it. I'm saying that the real estate agent interpreted that as like, oh, you have a partner, like not like, oh, my girlfriend is signing on with. He's like, no, I don't have a girlfriend, but I have a cosigner, and the other dude isn't obviously assuming, oh, it's probably a mob boss funding his lifestyle. Like I think he was assuming that there was a guy that was involved that he didn't want to,
Yeah, I
meet.
mean, I don't know, man. I've met people like that. You spend all this time thinking that they're tight asses because they're gay, and it turns out they're just tight asses because they suck in a metaphorical sense, not a literal one.
Yeah, I was about to say the tight ass line is like they might not be that either, but
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, from here we cut to Billy kind of take doing his time in prison and going back to kind of what the people around him believe is kind of a low life street thug kind of life. He starts
which
hanging
would
out
be
with his cousin,
pretty accurate.
who was actually Mark from Superbad. So I believe this is the first ever time we have an actor appear in multiple movies we've reviewed in the podcast. So wanted to give us a quick shout out to, I believe Kevin Costigan is the actor's name,
No,
who plays
Kevin Corrigan, I
Corrigan.
think something like because Costigan was the name of DiCaprio's
I
character.
am, yeah, that is true. Well, maybe his name, if he existed as a real person, would have been uh, Kevin Costigan. It is
No, it
Kevin
was Sean
Corrigan.
Costigan.
Yeah, Sean Costigan in the movie, Kevin Corrigan in real life. He was Mark with the Brazilian jersey in Superbad. So
Yeah,
shout
yeah,
out
yeah.
that guy. And then I believe DiCaprio. I didn't know that this was a stereotype. That's kind of how over the top racist the movie is. It seemingly invented some new stereotypes. He says to his cousin in that scene, he goes, "If they knew shit, they wouldn't be Puerto Ricans."
Yeah, well, I don't even think that's like a stereotype. I think it's just him being stupidly racist. But I did write it down where it's like such a crazy thing to say. Just be like, if they knew shit, they wouldn't be Puerto Rican. It's like, right, because they chose that one. Also, like, this is not related to that, but do you know of any other states besides? I know Pennsylvania is the only other one I've heard of that is a commonwealth and not a state.
I feel like Virginia.
Like, what is the difference between those two? Is it literally just in name only, or is there any sort of substantive difference between those two things?
That I have no idea of. I
And I
will
heard it when they
say,
were putting Costigan in jail, and I was like, bro, there's no world in which within like a week they'd be able to get him into the county jail on charges.
So I was right. Virginia is a Commonwealth, and then there's actually one other state that's a Commonwealth. It's Kentucky,
Hmm.
but there is no real difference between being a Commonwealth or
Oh.
another thing. It's kind of like how like Ohio State University calls themselves the Ohio State University. It's just a thing to make themselves feel important.
Yeah.
Uh, it doesn't really signify anything.
What did they put cost? What was his charges that they? Oh, his assault and
Assault and
battery.
battery, which is
I,
very believable.
yeah, my only issue with that, which I understand why they did for plot purposes and like movie writing purposes, but like in real life, that would never happen the way it did in that movie, where he basically within the week, seemingly, is in jail, and then a couple weeks later is getting out of jail, no problem from this stuff. It's like the amount of people that they would have to get on board with that. His undercover identity would be completely screwed.
I thought that, and maybe this I didn't interpret this correctly, but I thought the movie showed some passage of time
Well,
between
they say
him.
like he's got to stay there long enough for it to be believable.
I thought he was there around 6 months. Was my
I'm
read of
saying
it.
like they would need half of the state's attorney, district attorney's office in on this scheme for him to be moving that quickly through the system. Like courts are slow as fuck, dude. Unless he was literally, unless he actually was assaulting someone when they caught him, which it did not seem to be implying. Like he would
Yeah,
be out on bail for like months before he even had his first court date, let alone did a guilty plea.
I mean, dude, that's one thing I'll say in defense of this movie. It's like I think watching him go out on bail in a scene and just waiting
Would
for
just
the
be total
court
waste of
date
time.
would
Yeah.
be extremely boring.
It would be
That's
funny
something
if the
that I'm
movie
fine
was
with.
if the movie was like 5 hours long and 2 hours of that is just dedicated to the slow bureaucracy of him going through the
Yeah.
criminal justice
they,
system.
they just do a courtroom drama, except the only drama is how slow that the case is going. And they're like, all right, man, I know you were supposed to start in March 2006, but we're gonna have to push you back to April 2009 for undercover assignment.
So I also wrote down that I think this is the Boston movie, kind of like the Ohio State University.
I have one other or two other contenders for the Boston
I
movie.
also wrote down The Heat, but that's sort of a
That is
comedy
not
movie. So
either one of the ones I would have thought of. I was gonna say The Town with Ben Affleck is 4 years
oh yeah,
later. I do think The Town, just like I think Matt Damon is pretty much a better actor in every respect than Ben Affleck. I think The Departed is pretty much a better movie in every respect than The Town.
yeah, I do
And
like The Town though.
I'm saying this as someone who did really enjoy The Town. I think it's a great movie. And then the other one I would think of is Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, that one I feel like is even lower on the list just because there's so little Boston specific stuff in that movie.
I mean, how about Them Apples is like the Boston line.
Yeah, but was that a thing before that movie?
I don't know. I wasn't.
I
I
would
wasn't
assume
alive when the
no.
movie came out.
Dude, what?
Probably
Based on our YouTube comments, I assumed you were born in 1945.
Yeah, this might shock the listeners, but my birthday actually occurred after 1960. So I'm sorry, but I do not remember the behind the scenes of Some Like It Hot.
Yeah, you're a fucking fraud, dude. I
Yeah,
knew it.
dude, I should just quit everything.
This was another one that I never thought about before that I
Yeah,
noticed in the movie. But he says he got $30K for his mom's life insurance. And
yeah.
granted, like he's supposed to be pretty poor, but I looked it up, and in 2006, the average initial payout for a life insurance policy was between $150,000 and $170,000.
She must have got that Northwestern Mutual term.
I was like, dude, she is literally like 1/5 of the average one, which I don't know. I don't know what the average lower class or if you were like lower income payout would be, but that seems like he got shafted on that one.
Yeah, I'm no expert on that, but I will say one thing I am expert on is I've probably seen double-digit Scorsese movies at this point, and I just wrote down it wouldn't be a Scorsese movie if there wasn't Christ and Coke within the first 20 minutes of the movie, and there's
Yeah,
plenty of both in this one.
They also got the guy being like, "What are you on your period?"
Yeah, they keep saying that in this movie.
Yeah, they really love bringing up menstruation. Whatever
Dude,
Monahan is obsessed.
any time of the month is the right time to talk about that time of the month. So
And also, it's like imagine being at a bar, dude, and the guy next to you, because that wasn't even like a major player in the movie. That was
no.
essentially just like a random dude who someone next to him orders a cranberry juice, and he just feels the need to be like, "Are you on your period?"
Yeah. I will say that's I think I've seen guys order like Cosmos and Sex on the Beaches in the bar. Like, no one is gonna come up to you who doesn't know you and be like, "What are you, a girl? Are you a sissy?" Like, that's not how real life works. To be
Yeah,
fair, though, there was like 4 people in that bar, so I guess it was pretty noticeable. And I think all or most of them were affiliated with Frank and his crew.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely like not regular patrons in that bar. I still just thought it was hilarious for like just thinking of like
Yeah.
if I was in that situation, I definitely first of all I wouldn't have reacted like Costigan you did and just immediately started hammering on the guy. But I also in real life would have just been like, I'm sorry, what? Like, can I fucking help you?
I don't even I probably would have just stared at the guy. I would have been like, "What the fuck
Like
did
gave
he
him
just
the
say?"
Gen Z stare.
I would have just I wouldn't like know how to like react. So I would just look at him like and then I will say the other thing I thought I loved in it might have been that scene or scene before, but Colin said the name of the movie. And I think they say The
Oh, he's like,
Departed
who
like
are they? The Departed.
yeah, The Departed. They say the name of the movie like 3 or 4 times in this shit. And I was like, man, Peter Griffin would love this movie,
Oh
dude.
yeah, they
That's
said the
that.
thing.
He
They
said
said
it.
the
He
thing.
said
Is
it.
that the title?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think a priest says it on like 2 occasions, and he says, "Who are they? The Departed?" Like once or
yeah.
twice.
And
It's
then
also around the time that what's his face? I think it's Alec Baldwin or Dignam says that their office has more leaks than the Iraqi Navy.
I did write that down.
I was like, that's such a weirdly specific racist thing to say. Like,
Also, very good for the time because I believe this was in the middle of the Iraq War.
yeah, actually, I didn't think about that. That does make it a little bit more sensible that you know it's something that came out of his mouth.
Yeah, and then cut to immediately after that, Costigan is doing another thing to prove himself to Frank's crew, which I guess just involves beating the fuck out of people. But there are 2 Italian guys at the store, and I think maybe although there's a Frank line later that might top this one, but maybe the most cartoonishly racist statement of the movie is they keep calling the Indian owner of the shop Babu. He's like, "My name is Singh." And they insist on calling him Babu. And then Billy just starts beating the shit out of them as the guy kind of just stares.
Yeah, I feel like the plan there, I guess, was to beat up the Italian mob because they're rivals to
Yeah.
the Irish mob. But like, what if it just seems like a strange strategy because if Costello didn't hear about him, as he said, tuning up these like 2 random bozos,
Yeah.
he would have just got murdered by the Italian mob and not achieved anything. Like it just seemed like a strange strategy to
Yeah.
randomly punch a guy in Costello's bar and then beat the shit out of 2 random Italian mobsters.
The only thing I can think of, I mean, in Costello's bar, Frenchie was there. And he says the line like, I can say like who we can and can't hit kind of thing, and just beats the shit out of the
Mm-hmm.
guy in like solidarity. This one, my read of it is that Queenlin and Dignam gave him some sort of intel, like, hey, this is the rival gang for him, like provoke them, and like he's gonna notice because like he goes to the store all the time to set him up to do that because the movie shows Billy to be a pretty competent undercover cop. So I feel like there was definitely
Yeah.
some intention behind the people he beat up. I feel like he's too smart to just pick random low level street guys and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of them so Frank will notice me.
I
Although
do
very
you
similar to
you're
Ellis in Mud with the strategy of getting people to acknowledge him.
so during some of these scenes we get introduced to Sean, who we've talked about, and I think this might have been the first time I actually put this together, or at least that I can remember, which is that the buddy he was at the funeral for was the guy who stole the microprocessors.
I did not realize that actually.
Yeah, so whatever Fennec I think, or something like that. That's the girl from Boba Fett, but something similar to that um, is the name of the dude who got popped after stealing the microprocessors. And in the scene right before that, like Sean comes in and says he was at a funeral and puts the card on the table, and it's uh, that guy's card, and it's like, damn, he's more connected than he knows.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Very
I
2006 coded to just be like microprocessors. There's
yeah,
these computer things that can put a missile up a camel's ass from 100 miles away. It's like, whoa, dude, 100 miles.
another very 2006 coded thing is that their burner phones are the same shitty Motorola phones as their normal use phones. Like, there's no differentiation between the two.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's
like,
on the note
hey,
of the. No, go ahead.
I just say, hey, like, this is your burner phone. Here's your normal phone. It's a black color instead of a silver one, so we know it's a burner.
Yeah, on the note of the phones, I just so I was gonna do a video essay on this movie in high school as like part of a project, and one of the
Yeah,
things I was like obsessed with is how they make the sound of them opening and closing their phone so specifically loud. Like even
yeah,
in scenes where they do it slowly and there basically wouldn't be a sound, he just adds it in for some reason. And
yeah,
I think that it's like, to me it kind of sounded almost as if the sound of drawing a sword or unholstering a gun like in a movie. And I think the whole point of that is, because I've also looked this up and other people did point it out, I think the point of that kind of is that their like information and the phones are sort of their weapons. Like obviously they actually have guns, but like the
yeah.
information they're both giving to either the mob or the cops, they use their phones. And so it sort of makes it like every time they're opening that up, it's like they're drawing their weapon, which I thought was pretty sick. um this is completely unrelated, but I really like Mark Wahlberg's saying, "My theory on feds is they're like mushrooms. Feed them shit and keep them in the dark."
I did write that line down.
Yeah.
And before we go forward in the movie, and I wish I was able to figure this out on my own, but I actually read this online. One other kind of cool, like little symbolic detail is in the movie. Scorsese intentionally sets it up so all of the kind of bad characters are in like red or complementary colors to red the whole movie, and all of the good characters are in blue or complementary character colors to blue in the movie, where
Mhm.
DiCaprio and Matt Damon are in a mixture of the two to kind of signify
Yeah.
that they're kind of in a gray area of
Going in both.
morality. Yeah, kind of play at one foot in both worlds. And then
It's pretty
around
impressive that Costigan never like, he never pulls a, what's it, not Donnie Darko, Donnie Brasco. Like
Donnie
he never goes
Brasco.
full like criminal. You know what I mean? Like he's always sort of just doing his job. Whereas I feel like every other undercover cop movie, like at some point the cop starts getting a little too, too excited about his work.
Yeah, I mean, he is maybe the best undercover cop I've seen in a movie. Donnie
Mm-hmm.
Brasco is the only other one that immediately comes to mind.
21 Jump Street.
Oh, well, that's a little different. Also, their undercover crew is high schoolers. That's a pretty
How do you
easy
think? How do
squad.
you think Jonah Hill's character would have done if he was Billy Costigan, dude?
dude, dude, I feel like he would have mouthed off to one of the mob guys, and he would have got him whacked pretty quickly, dude.
Oh yeah.
He would have been like, "Dude, are you kidding me? Your breath smells like a bag of moldy penises." And then Frank would have shot him in the face, and then he
Yep.
would have said something like, "Now, son, the adults are talking."
I think uh, there's also, I like that that Costigan, when he's beating up the Italian mobsters, like they show him shattering his hand bone, because that's like a
Yeah,
very realistic thing. Like if you're just hitting people in the head that hard, you're gonna fucking break your hand. Which also sets up the scene for French to check it for a wire by just being like, "Let me see that." Smash like on the table.
yeah.
That was such a crazy fucking move, dude.
That was a dope sequence, dude. And I mean, I don't know where exactly his wire was supposed to be concealed in that scene, or maybe it was the next
He
scene
didn't
he was
have
wearing a
one.
wire. The next scene he was wearing a wire. But
Yeah.
I mean, it showed that, like, besides the fact that it was dope to watch, is like, damn, these guys are sick fucks. It really showed kind of how good of an operation Frank ran. Because they even thought to like check his cast for a wire.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because then in like the next scene he's wearing like a full chest rig wire, and they don't check him for that. But I guess one check was enough to make sure uh, that he didn't have one.
I also, and there are a lot of style choices by Frank I loved in this movie, but him wearing a cheetah print tie and a cheetah print robe at various points was
Yep,
very sick.
I wrote down that the cheetah print tie is one of the ugliest ties I've ever seen.
I would wear that tie.
You
I
would?
would absolutely wear that tie. That was
What
sick.
events would you wear that tie to?
Um, that's a good
Your
question.
wedding?
No, not my wedding.
Other person's wedding?
Okay, here's a good one actually.
What
If
about a
it
funeral?
not a funeral, not a funeral. If I was going to somebody whose wedding I was going to out of an obligation to another person that I didn't like, I think I would wear that tie.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
And maybe
This
also a cheetah print suit.
So around here, before we move past the hand thing, I did also want to note I liked the little scene where he's getting his hand fixed up, and
Yeah.
it's in the same scene that Matt Damon is flirting with Madeline, or maybe on a date with her, and DiCaprio is getting his hand fixed up, and he like
Yeah.
looks at the nurse as if she's like kind of cute, but then you see him be like, "Oh, you can't do that," and look away, and it's like, damn that. First of all, great acting on DiCaprio's part, but also a great way of showing like how fucked his life is compared to Matt Damon, who's just getting like the best beard of all time.
I think that this was the third or fourth scene in the movie where DiCaprio has injured himself. And
Yeah,
he hasn't even gotten into like serious territory of undercover. Like just to get into a spot where he could be in danger, he had to already like go serve a term in prison and just fuck himself up repeatedly.
yeah. Whereas Matt Damon's eating this weird chocolate cake contraption with a therapist from the building.
Have you ever seen a dessert like that in the wild?
In the wild, no, I have not seen. I've not approached a creature of that type out in the wild. I've seen some like wacky ones, but that I was looking at it trying to think like what was the structure of that? You know what I mean? Like was it cake all the way up, or was it like I don't know. I what I would have been kind of pissed if they served me that. I would have been like, how the fuck am I supposed to eat this?
I
It's
mean,
also
that's
on a
what Matt
plate
Damon
that's like this
says.
big.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is they like put that shit down horizontally to prepare it, and then they just have some sort of thing that makes it stick up, and they like vertically serve it. But I
And they're just
can't
like,
figure
good
out what
luck,
they'll do.
asshole. Figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, dude. It's sometimes they do shit like that just to like make you make a mess all over yourself at restaurants, dude.
Yeah, they're trying to trick you into getting messy.
Well, dude, it's like they'll give you like a full rack of ribs. They'll be like, "Oh, there's extra barbecue sauce in this," and then they'll give you like that singular like paper thin napkin and no wipes, and it's like, do you want me to just spill everything all over your table? Do you
Not
want your
having
table to be
wipes,
covered in barbecue sauce with my singular napkin you gave me?
not having wipes means you're just gonna cover the entire table in
Well,
barbecue sauce. What are you rolling around?
not
in it?
intentionally, but like I'm gonna maybe forget to grab my napkin at one point and put my hand down. It's like, now there's barbecue sauce all over your tablecloth.
Uh-oh.
We're in trouble now.
Alert the papers.
Imagine that was a headline. That sounds like an Onion headline. Man ruins barbecue restaurant table by smearing his barbecue sauce covered fingers on it.
Well, we've learned a lesson today, which is that you eat like an ape.
Yeah, I mean, I think the closest character comp to me in terms of eating is one of the apes from the Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, well, actually, those guys are pretty clean. I'd say that they'd look at you and be like, "Look at this, whatever ape speak is for. Look at this fucking guy."
Maybe Warren from There's Something About Mary would be a better comp.
What about what did you think about who was it? Oh, another random guy in the bar. Lots of good random guys in bars in this one.
Oh yeah.
When Frank is like, "How's your wife?" and he's like, "Oh, she's on her way out." He's like, "We all are. Act accordingly." I was like, "Damn, dude, why do you even ask?"
I also loved when he came up to the priest and he's like, "How's the 12-year-olds?"
Oh yeah, he's like, no, he's like, remember what we talked about with 12-year-olds sucking on their peckers? I was like, like, etc., etc. Then he hands him a drawing of the nun naked, and I was like, damn,
Yeah.
Frank is really Frank is the horn dog in Boston, dude.
One thing I kept thinking about the more I wrote Frank's name down, I think Frank from this movie and Frank from Always Sunny would be the best of pals. And there's even a scene later in the movie where Frank just stumbles into the room covered in blood. And that was like the moment it clicked for me. I'm like, this is like beat for beat something I could see Danny DeVito doing in Always Sunny.
Yeah, the stumbling in with blood also reminded me of Creed from The Office when he comes into the Halloween party covered in blood and he's like, "Oh, it's Halloween. That's great timing." I was like, that would be a hell of a blunt rotation, dude. Frank Reynolds, Creed Bratton, and Frank Costello.
Dude, that's the dream blunt rotation right there. No other answers are valid, man.
Creed's playing music while Frank and other Frank are both eating sausages with their hands, like that they held over the fire.
By the end of the night, there's a sweatshop going in your basement and someone's missing an arm.
Yep. What do we have after that? Oh, we have I like Matt Damon when he's investigating the guys from Providence who got killed,
Yeah.
being like, the principles of detection tell me that these fellows are from Providence.
I also like when Alec Baldwin, I think soon after he solves that one, or at least pins it on some guy with the help of Frank, is like, qui bueno, who benefits? And Matt Damon goes, "Key, who gives a shit? It's got a bow on it."
Yeah, like it's a fucking result.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I think you are a cop, my son." And
Yeah.
I was like, this is like a good point because most cops fucking suck, dude, and they literally just think that these people should get murdered. And I
mean,
love him being like, "Oh hell yeah, you're one of the boys."
I think that Matt Damon's character has the only character I can remember in a movie who is not one but two father figures, because not only is Frank like a father to him, but so is Ellerby.
Yeah.
They have a great bromance.
Ellerby is the homie, dude. He gives lots of good speeches, lots to learn from. You know, he's a fountain of knowledge if you think about it.
We'll get back to him and the computer parts that they're after in a second, but right around here, Colin is just absolutely unable to perform for the therapist. And then she soon after crosses paths with a real man, Billy Costigan, who immediately perfectly reads her.
Yeah, with the like, "Oh, so you had a father who was a drunk." She's like, "Oh shit, what? Fuck you, no."
It's like, no. And then she's also like, "Oh, like, aren't you nervous during this?" And he's like, "I always got a steady hand." I was like, hell yeah.
Pretty
dude.
sick line, dude. I like the hand thing. Do you think maybe Matt Damon's character is just secretly getting loaded before he goes in, and that's his? He's not gay. He's just like getting hammered with Costello and the boys.
Well, dude, I was gonna say, why do you think the therapist only offered Billy two Valium pills to start with? She's probably spoon feeding Colin them at his request, dude. He's probably can't fuck her because he's on like 30 Valium.
Well, I don't know, dude, because Costigan was chugging those things down like candies, and he was doing just fine.
He's a different animal, dude. That man is invincible. I also love how she's like asking him, like, "How do you know that guy was a cop?" And he goes, "Bad hair, poor dress sense, and an air of scumbag entitlement."
I was like, "Yep, that nailed it." I also love him saying, "Nobody's more full of shit than a cop, except a cop on TV." I was like, "That's a good one."
Eventually, Madeline, the therapist, just gets fed up with his bullshit, and she goes, "Oh, what do you want? Like, why are you lying to me?" And he goes, "You want the truth? Valium."
Yeah, and also I did write. I feel like I wrote down. Oh, okay. So I have a lot written down before we get to that scene, but since we're already talking about it, when I wrote down that she gives like, and she says this, that he seeks or he's the profile for drug seeking behavior.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, you handed a prescription for Valium to the most drug seeking type patient you basically could have.
Yeah, dude. On that note, actually, there was an actual like LAPD psychologist who went with Vera Farmiga to kind of prep for the movie, and they read through the script, and the actual LAPD psychologist was like, "Yeah, your character does pretty much every single thing you can possibly do wrong."
Yeah, like gives them drugs because they threaten to kill themselves.
Yeah, sleeps with a patient.
Sleeps with a coworker.
just openly gets involved in like police business.
Yeah, she was definitely not the peak of her career. I'll tell you that.
And like that's a little surprising because like they show this department as being pretty well funded and nice. So it's like you couldn't get a better person than
Well, she went to
uh
Harvard, dude.
no, she went to UMass.
Oh well, then why does she have a Harvard shirt? Just because she's from Boston?
Yeah.
Oh, that
You,
makes
you gotta
sense.
like yeah, she even
I
says
thought
because
UMass was for undergrad, and then Harvard would have been for her doctorate.
maybe I don't know.
And I also don't know what like upper schools Harvard has because I'm too good for Harvard.
Yeah, dude, we were too smart for Harvard. That's why we do this podcast. But
Dude,
I
what,
just
we got over a 1400 in our SATs. What we
yeah.
could have been? We were astronauts.
Yeah, I spent 4 years at astronaut school. That's where my diploma's from.
A little astronaut school, a little magic school for your PhD.
Yeah,
You're good to
dude.
go.
No, I went to ninja school for my PhD. Please, I'm a triple black belt.
I like I think this is going back a little bit, but Mr. When he's like, yeah, you said you know who John Lennon is? Like he said, I'm an artist. Give me a fucking tuba and I'll make you something out of it.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, I'll tell you, Mr. Costello, I'd like to squeeze some fucking money out of it. I thought that was a great line.
We're well past this point in the movie, but just to give credit where credit's due, I love when he goes, "You're 1 in 10 million, Frenchie, but your
No, he
wife
says
isn't."
You're 1 in a million. He's like 10
It's
million.
10 million. But your wife wasn't, and it just cuts to Frenchie strangling her.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, like why did we need to see that? It felt like a Tarantino type of thing, like Brad Pitt and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it's like we're just going to divert from the movie for a second, so you can show this guy murdering his wife that we will never learn anything else about. Just to let you know, Frenchie doesn't take no shit.
This guy's
You don't
being
even know what
dudes,
she
man.
did either, because like they were both getting out of the shower together when he did that,
I guess she snitched.
or she stepped out.
No, I feel like they have a pretty high tolerance for that kind of stuff.
There's also so many other undercover people in this movie. Like the guy that DiCaprio hits in the face because he's going for his cigarettes and he
Yeah.
thinks he's getting a gun. Like that guy was an undercover cop. He also very clearly hits him in the top of the head. And then the guy's like spitting out teeth. And it's like, damn, I think those things might have been pretty fucking loose already, dude. If that's all it took, like someone just bonks you in the head and your teeth fly out.
I think almost every single character in this movie who works with the police is undercover either for the police or for the mob.
Yeah. We've got the great line from French during that scene, which is "This is America. You don't make money. You're a fucking douchebag. What are you gonna do? Make more money? Yeah." It was a very boomer take, actually. It's just like, if I give you $2K, I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under. And he's like, "This is America. Make more money."
Speaking of boomer tanks, soon after Matt Damon cannot get hard, he returns to work and Ellerby offers him a cigarette. And he's like, "Oh, no thanks." And he goes, "You don't smoke, do you? What are you, one of those fitness freaks?
Fuck yourself. Like I wrote that one down too. I think it's that's a little while from now. But you want to smoke? No, you don't want to smoke. What are you, a fitness freak? Fuck yourself. Like he says it all like he's on meth. It's just like, yeah, I thought that was great. And also with the priest, I'm just trying to knock out any quotes I wrote down. Frank being like, "In this archdiocese, God don't run the bingo." Like, dude, imagine saying it. It'd actually be even funnier. Like, imagine saying that to a priest, but there's like no context. Like, you just go to church and the priest is like, "How are you, my son?" You're like, "Listen, Father, in this archdiocese, God don't run the bingo."
Dude, I can't believe we've gotten this far in the movie and we haven't talked about Frank's girlfriend,
Gwen.
lady friend.
I think she's put as Gwen Costello, so I'm assuming they're married.
Wife. Her just wearing her babushka, I wrote down, that was outrageous.
Yeah, you thought it was an outrageous fashion choice.
Dude, I mean, dude, the fashion police are getting called on this couple, dude. Let me tell you, cheetah print everything, and babushka's running amok.
Yeah, I think it was more like a scarf type of thing. If you were Costello, would you have been like, "Get your ass in here and changed"?
No, I would have been like, I
let
should
the
get myself
babushka
one of
roll.
those too. Yeah, I mean, she says to him around that time, she goes, "Is your highness gonna drop me off at confession or fuck me before work?"
Yeah. Which also like, all right, that's a strange 2-part combo you're going for there, but Who am I to judge? I think it's pretty soon after that too. We have Matt Damon. They arrest Fitzy, who
Yeah,
I thought was just one of the homies. Seemed like a chill guy. He gets arrested, and Matt Damon pretends to be a lawyer and like turns off the camera. And it's kind of funny because he's like doing it in order to help the mob guy, but also doing it in order to help the police,
yeah.
which I thought was a little neat. But also, that should have been the moment where I don't know if they ever say his name, but the black guy officer, because there's two there with him, and it's the other guy who's secretly undercover for Costello, and
Yeah.
then the black dude who was with DiCaprio in the academy. That dude, as far as we see, is like a pretty straight shooter. That should have been the first moment where he was like, something is fucking wrong with this guy because this is super illegal.
The only thing I can think of from his perspective is that Matt Damon and Berrigan, I believe is the other cop's name, were both highly ranked and significantly outranked him. So I guess he's thought for that is kind of they're just pulling rank on me, and this is kind of something the higher ups do.
Yeah,
I mean
just flagrantly break the law.
I think one or two scenes after this, Alec Baldwin just assaults a camera operator in front of the entire department
Pretty sick
with
move.
zero repercussions. So it seems like the kind of place where they play fast and loose with the rules.
I think what we have we talked about Madeline, but I think her role is very interesting as like this weird middle ground between the two main character like undercovers, where she sort of has this fake relationship, but it's established with Matt Damon, and then has like an actual intimate relationship with Costigan, but it's not real or whatever. I don't know. I didn't know exactly how to frame it, but I thought it was a really interesting dynamic between the three of them.
I mean, it's almost a metaphor for their positions as cops. On the surface, Matt Damon's with her, but underground, real ones know that DiCaprio's really the one hitting that.
Only the people who know ball knows that
Only
Costigan
real
is with.
ball knowers know that. And I think that's a good time to get into another theory, which I don't even really think is a theory. I just think this is what happened. A lot of people who watch this movie, and I agree with this, think that the reason that Matt Damon acts so surprised toward the end of the movie is because the child is actually DiCaprio's kid and not his.
Oh, because his dick wasn't working, so he's like, "How the
Yeah.
hell
And
did that happen?"
DiCaprio at least fucked her once from what the movie shows. And he
Yeah,
doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's using protection.
no, he
So
seems like he's more of a raw dog it type of dude.
he seems like a spray and pray kind of guy.
And Matt Damon, like if Matt Damon was the dick wasn't working, and maybe he wasn't, maybe he wasn't firing bullets, say son, because he's not a big fan of the ladies.
Matt Damon seems like the kind of guy who would get a vasectomy and wear 2 condoms just to be safe.
So we have a good scene of DiCaprio's character meeting up with Queenan and uh, Dignam
Yeah.
by the bridge, and he punches Dignam in the face, which is very satisfying. He definitely deserved that. But it has what I think is one of the stupidest lines in the entire movie, which is Queenan saying, "If anybody's watching us, how are we not supposed to arrest you?" And it's like, what? Like, none of you are in uniform. So if anyone's watching you, like, it's just three guys talking. So why would they assume that you would arrest them? And
I get
secondarily, if they do know you're cops and somebody saw you, whether or not he punched you, they just saw your undercover guy with two cops. Like, any way you paint that situation, that what he said makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is if someone else from the department saw them, but it's pretty well established in this movie that beating up your coworkers is not only allowed but
Acceptable behavior.
encouraged at
Yeah.
this department. So I
Only the
don't really
real
know what he's
boys.
worried about. I guess it kind of shows that Queenan is the only guy who tries to follow some sort of moral code. I actually
Yeah.
think that he's the only male character that appears in more than like 2 scenes that doesn't beat the shit out of somebody at any point in the movie. So,
Dude, so he's basically Mother Teresa.
I mean, he's basically the saint of the department.
Yeah. Did you catch that we get a fun little a modest proposal reference in this scene?
I have not seen that movie, so no.
It's not a movie, it's a like a mini story, like a pamphlet thing from English class in high school, the first like the
Oh, was that the thing where they were like, "Hey, like we should probably be
feed.
independent"?
No,
Oh,
I think it was actually from Ireland, but it was like when we learned about satire. It was basically a
oh,
pamphlet
like
this guy
eating
put out
babies.
about how you should feed babies to poor people to solve hunger or whatever.
Yeah.
As like a satire. Yeah, there's like a line where Costigan's like, "What are you waiting for him to do? Chop me up and feed me to the poor?" It's like, yeah, because he does know lots of, literature related stuff, which also I thought was funny because nowadays, if like someone was quoting like random old writers, people would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Well, I feel like nowadays, if someone did that, people are just like, "Yeah, we also have Google."
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Actually, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, what else did ChatGPT tell you?"
Well, now people would quote writers with quotes they never said from ChatGPT, and it would be
That's
like,
true.
and you can, dude, I really do not think we're that far off from a future where like HR departments are printing out like working overtime is not only stealing from the company, but stealing from your very soul as a person. George Washington.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see a couple like HR posters, the ones that are like the inspirational posters,
Yeah.
but it's just like attributing like don't give up, but it's just like MLK. It's like, bro, come on. So let's
Yeah.
get into this the microprocessor
The
deal because
microprocessor.
there is a lot going on in this that I thought was worth getting into.
I mean, first of all, Frank just showing up in his bucket hat and sunglasses was peak fashion.
Yeah, you were a big fan of the Costello fashion choices in this movie.
I mean, dude, that he might be my new fashion inspo, dude. It was Tony Montana and Scarface, but that title might be getting usurped.
Dude, I think you and Matt Damon's character might have got along real well.
No, no.
There's so first of all, another scene where he gets to use just like nearly every racial. Some of them are slurs, some of them are just like I don't know if Chinaman counts as a slur, but it's certainly culturally insensitive.
I mean, I think it's like calling someone like an Oriental. I don't think that's technically a slur, but it's also probably something you shouldn't be saying.
Yeah, and there's so many quotes in this. Like just like in this country, you don't add inches to your dick, you get a life sentence for it. And it's like, no, you don't. You
Yeah.
simply do not get a life sentence for that. But 10 years is a long time, so I'll give you that. And you're like 70, so maybe it would be a life sentence.
I mean, the quote of the scene was Frank turning to his translator and he goes, tell Bruce Lee and the Karate Kids that none of us are carrying automatic weapons.
I think that's a close second to him just saying, no ticky, no laundry. I was like, damn, dude. He really is just getting like every
He's
Asian
hitting every
stereotype in this one thing. This is also where we get it's not nearly as funny, but I did like it where we get Mark Wahlberg being like the camera dude is like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Dude, I wrote down that same exact quote.
Yeah, that's just such a great line. Like, if anyone ever asks me that at my job, I'm gonna use that one.
I also love how, I mean, we already touched on this, but the fact that like the camera operators makes one mistake and says like one snarky comment, and Alec Baldwin's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna start wailing on this
Well,
guy."
I love him being like, "Can I see you for a second?" And then steps like one step to
Yeah,
the side.
everyone
and
can see him still.
Yeah. I thought that was so funny though. Just like "Can I see you for a second?" And stepping like basically right there. He just wanted him to stand up so he could wail on him.
So in the aftermath of this scene, I believe that Colin gets another promotion, and things are looking even more up for him because Madeline moves in with him after 4 months, which, beard or not, that's a fucking insane move.
I mean, it seems like they're both kind of old. I don't know how, like, I don't think they're supposed to be in their 20s. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
they
they're
are
both
at
like
oldest early 30s.
It's definitely quick. I just feel like the older you get, like, the more reasonable it is to move more quickly.
I mean, they're not 22, but they're not AARP age either.
I did say Madeline just has garbage taste in men. Like literally the two guys she picked are a mob informant and a dude who looks like he's about to crack at any moment.
I mean, dude, it could have been worse. She could have chose Frank.
That is true. That
She
is
could've-
well, actually Gwen seems like she's got a pretty good life over there.
I mean, dude, Imagine your two choices in men being Frank and Frenchie. Madeline would have a much better life.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't choose Frenchie. It went poorly for the last lady that went down that path. But I think when she's moving in, we have a great scene of Matt Damon being like, "No, you're not putting your fucking family photos up in the living room," because it's like he's a kind of ashamed of his upbringing, so he doesn't want to see anything from hers because then it makes him think about his.
Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely was a working class upbringing, but it just I think it's such a smart writing choice to have DiCaprio see that exact same picture and be
And
like,
put it up
"Oh,
on the wall.
yeah, it looks like you."
Yeah, and put it like which
Yeah,
even though she's moving, which was a little strange, honestly, if you think about it, but still like great little. There's lots of good little scenes of DiCaprio that sort
yeah.
of illustrate the big differences between them, like the thing with the nurse or the thing with the photo. Um, and I don't know who says this one. It's right after the photo thing. I just wrote down, "Wouldn't you rather wipe my ass for me?" Oh, it's called. Frank says it to Dignam. They just show up to talk to him and like tell him what they're investigating specifically for just no reason. Like it doesn't seem to serve any point in the plot.
I feel like, and I'll get into this a little more at the behind the scenes. They gave Jack Nicholson heavy license to improvise in this movie and make his own creative choices. And I feel like he definitely just went up to Scorsese one day. He's like, you know what we need to film? Me telling the two cops to go fuck themselves. He's like, well, you've won an Oscar. You can say whatever.
You can do whatever the hell you want. Yeah. I noted down. I hadn't noticed this before, but I think Costello's gun that he carries in every scene is a Walther PPK, which is sorry, it's a motorcycle, which is James Bond's gun. So
Pretty
he's
dope.
basically the American James Bond minus all those swagger and government connections and suits.
I don't know, dude. I think if James Bond was set in Charleston, West Virginia instead of London, England, maybe that is what James Bond would look like.
Or Boston.
Southie.
Yeah,
It's like, how old, dude? It's like he would just be the Roger Moore James Bond toward the end of it. It's like, how old are you? 30.
During that, then the Coke scene with Jack Nicholson, where he's got the two ladies.
Oh,
And
I
like,
love
just
that.
tossing it in the air and shit. Like, if you were growing up in Boston and you were part of the mob, would you have, your fair share of Coke threesomes?
I mean, yeah, dude, you had the zebra girls. That's what I wrote down for that, dude. One black girl, one white girl, which is another Jack Nicholson insisted on that being in the movie.
For like racial equality purposes, or he just really wanted those two ladies to be.
He just really wanted those two ladies. I also love the black sex worker. I assume her only scenes in the movie are her standing next to him in the opera and him saying, "Sweetheart, do this coke until your nose turns numb."
Yeah, he's basically like, go snort it out of her ass. It's like, all right. This lady's also living the life, I think. Her and Frank are having a grand old time. And it's not long after this that we get the, Citizens Trust envelope that gets introduced in the movie. That little, I don't know
He
if I
spells
you could
citizens
call it
wrong.
Yeah, and then when Costigan fixes it, he's like, what are you fucking retarded? Look, citizens. And it's like, dude, you literally just said you don't know how to spell it. And then he changes an I to an E, and you're like, no way.
Yeah, dude. I love my citizens. Yeah, right around this time as well, after Billy kind of storms out, he goes to visit the therapist. One of the best needle drops in the movie. We didn't talk about this at the start, but the Rolling Stones, it's just a shot away. Needle drop was
Beast
awesome.
of Burden? No, not Beast of Burden.
Give Me Shelter.
Give Me Shelter.
That's what it is. Give Me Shelter.
And they bring it back later in the movie too.
They do, yeah. But Comfortably Numb needle drop when Billy visits the therapist. Mm-hmm. Probably the needle drop of the movie. I just felt like that perfectly fit the scene. And then he immediately goes in and just takes charge, which Colin never does at any point in the movie. She's always trying to kind of lead him to express his emotions. Meanwhile, Billy reads her perfectly the first time he meets her, and then the second time he meets her, he fucks her. Kind of badass.
He's making good time.
Yeah. If this was a race, he's winning.
Yeah. We also get the nice scene of Ellerby, I guess is his name, talking to Matt Damon when he gives him the assignment to like try and find the rat. And he's like, yeah, like, good to get married. It lets people know you're not a homo, and at least somebody can stand the guy. And ladies know you have cash and your cock works. He's just laying down life lessons, dude.
Dude, aren't they like golfing or something during
Yeah,
that
he's at the
scene?
driving range.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, imagine just being a random dude in Boston and you go to the driving range after work and you just hear that happening.
You're standing next to that, and you're just like, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I got to get married now.
Yeah. It's like a 50-year-old guy who's never been married. He's like, I got to change my whole life up.
Oh, and you get what's his face? Matt Damon being, oh, it's working overtime.
Oh yeah, it's working overtime.
I think you might be compensating a little bit, but
I mean, dude, I know he's not gay because he showed up in the porn feeder, which Frank also owns.
Yeah, the porn, I loved Frank's little prank, dude. Frank the prankster.
Right. That was another Jack Nicholson thing he insisted on. He's like, Frank needs to wear a strap on in the porno feeder, and he needs to fake come on Matt Damon. I'm not doing the movie.
And Matt Damon was like, I also will not do the movie unless we do that scene. It would be funny if, like, in the behind the scenes, they're like, no, that was just actually Jack Nicholson's dick. He would not put it away.
Yeah, his dick is black for some reason. The other thing I love about that prank is that there's 4 other people in the theater and no one even lifts their head during that part.
No, they don't.
It's like, typical Tuesday.
Yeah, they're all too locked in, dude, on the film.
Dude.
They don't want to miss the plot, okay? Yeah, I know you're a big plot guy.
I mean, dude, I was enjoying the plot of that movie. I think they were setting up the tension well.
What is the longest amount of plot you've ever watched in a porn video?
I mean, the audience is not going to like this one, but I'm not here to pander. I have probably watched 15 to 20 minutes of setup before.
That's crazy, dude. Was it worth it? Was there like a big emotional payoff for the character arc?
I mean, it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot watching 2 people act terribly.
I mean, actually, I might be longer, dude. I've seen like these hour and a half long. I'm really out of myself as a gooner, but these hour and a half long like Truth or Dare videos, and I was watching the opening rounds. They were like stripping, and at a certain point, I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? It's been half an hour. I need to skip to the finale."
Oh my god! What was do you remember your favorite answer from the Truth or Dare they were playing?
I mean, it was from the mid 2000s. I remember that because one of the girls said Vin Diesel was hot, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. That's a ludicrous take.
Yeah. Well, you know, ludicrous, Vin Diesel. You're getting all the Fast and the Furious names in.
They also, well, actually, what I thought was a ludicrous take for that, where they were all aligned, and we haven't done a movie by her yet, but I have some spicy takes on her. They're all aligned. Angelina Jolie's the hottest girl. I saw a meme of Angelina Jolie and Steve Buscemi side by side, and they look eerily similar, and I can't get that picture out of my head every time I look at her now.
I'll have to try and put a comparison on the screen during editing if I can.
I can probably send you that picture. I definitely could find it with like 5 minutes of research.
You got that one locked and loaded at all times.
It's burned in the hard drive of my memory.
So speaking of the porn scene, I did think on a rewatch, it kind of annoyed me that like DiCaprio definitely saw more than enough of Matt Damon's, not face per se, but like if he had just went to the cops and been like, yeah, take a photo of all, like there's only like 12 cops in that unit, dude. Like just be like, take a photo of all of them from behind and let me see if I can tell. Because like Matt Damon is a pretty specific shape of person compared to everyone else in that office. It couldn't possibly be that hard.
Okay, but the idea of him just coming to them and be like, hey, like your favorite cop on the entire force is an undercover mole, like that's a pretty far-fetched premise without like irrefutable evidence. Like I get why he waited to say anything and like tried to catch.
Well, he didn't know that he was like the top cop in the force, and also Queenland was still alive at that time, and Queenland didn't really give a fuck about Matt Damon. It was only Ellerby that like really glazed him. So it's like, and again, Costigan didn't know that he's like the top cop.
You don't think they ever cross paths in the police academy?
No, because otherwise this whole thing wouldn't, you know,
or really he saw him on the news because he was on that case.
No, I don't. I thought like as far as the movie establishes, he doesn't know shit about like the cops there.
Eh, no one's
I just
perfect.
well, nobody's perfect. I gotta get a like a GIF of that saved just to use it from Some Like It Hot, just to use on random occasions.
Yeah, not a 10 out of 10 movie, but a 10 out of 10 line. I will give him that.
True. So, moving on to the scene of Costigan, like not Costello, drawing the rat
Wait, we're not
picture in the
just going to
diner.
talk about Colin stabbing a random Chinese dude in an alley.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do. I did glaze past that pretty quick, but so did the movie. So
I like how that just happens and there's no like repercussions or fallout from
whatsoever,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, hey, some random Chinese guy just got stabbed. The
to
typical
death.
day in Chinatown.
And presumably died because he can't ever ID him. And it's like there's no also that one camera on the corner that he looked right at, like it shows him like looking at the footage, so you can assume he deletes it, but he would have had to like go or no, it was a CCTV camera, so maybe he has access to it. But are you telling me that no shops in that area had their own cameras?
Dude, cameras weren't invented till 2022. Everyone knows that.
Except for CCTV
Except
cameras.
for Also, I wrote this down that the security cameras were like at best like 240p.
It
It
is funny when it shows him like zooming in on DiCaprio's face on there trying to see who it is, and it's like 4 pixels.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
like,
it
bro, what?
literally could be any white guy.
Yeah, or like when they're doing the microprocessor deal, and he's like, yeah, and that's Frenchie, and that's Costello, and that's blah blah. It's like, how could you tell some of those more minor guys apart? Like, you guys are getting like 6 pixels to determine who this dude is.
How much money do you think those microprocessors would go for on the market today?
I mean, probably like cents on the dollar,
I would say like
maybe a
20
couple
bucks.
bucks. Yeah, like at most. A part that small, like I don't know. I'm not, it's been a while since I built a PC, but I'm pretty sure that the stuff that they were working with back then would be like wouldn't be able to power like a what's it called, a Nintendo Switch, let alone like a missile.
I also would have loved, and I guess this could be a prequel movie. How did Frank get his hands on the microprocessors?
Remember the guy stole them? Like he was
Oh,
working there. That was Sean's buddy for some reason. Which, what was he doing working at a microprocessor plant? But he stole them, and then he got popped by Costello's gang.
ah, I do remember that now.
He
There's a
thought
lot
maybe
that goes
Frank just
on here.
made them.
Well, I would just be like, it would be really funny if he's like getting some like Taiwanese guy to smuggle them, and he's like, Hong Kong Fooey, hurry it up.
Yeah. So
uh,
wait, is there anything else between the random murder and the diner scene?
I mean, no, I will say another thing I loved with the diner scene. Frank shows up in a purple dress shirt and a striped blazer. I
Yeah.
love that outfit. I want to
You're
wear
a
that to
really
work,
big
dude.
fan of fans Frank's fashion choices in this one.
I mean, Frank is a fashion icon, dude. That they should have made the Devil Wears Prada about him, dude, not Meryl Streep's bitch
Oh yeah,
ass.
that would have been that'd have been pretty. The devil wears pinstripes.
Yeah, dude, the Devil Wears cheetah print.
There we go.
There
That's
we
what it
go.
would be. I thought his Jack Nicholson's like rat impression, for lack of a better way to put it, where he's like,
Yeah,
like that was some good, this teething rat, like that was
yeah,
some good shit.
yeah. He also tells him you learn a lot watching things eat.
He literally does seem like his brain over the course of the movie is like slowly turning to mush, because in that scene when like Costigan's like, do you like, who do you think could do your job better than you, or who thinks that? And he's like, do you think you could? And he's like, no, I don't want to. He's like,
I actually thought
heavy
that.
lies the crown, kind of a thing. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
like he says it in a way where it's like he's like, oh yeah, good point. Like I don't know, it just seemed like his brain was turning to mush.
I think they show both of Costigan and Costello that their brains are just going to shit throughout the movie. I mean, Costigan obviously is out under a lot of pressure. I think crime, like being a crime boss, ages you very fast. And I think Frank is basically like a centurion in crime boss years by hitting 70.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely stood out. Which also him being like, yeah, like one of your guys is gonna pop you eventually. Like, bro, how has that not happened already?
Yeah, it also he's like, yeah, you barely pay them, and like you're an insane person to work for. Like,
Yeah,
why are they so loyal to him? Are they
I
also all FBI informants?
I don't. Well, apparently, at least two of them are cops. But it is kind of strange when he's like, "Yeah, the pay isn't good. Like, it's basically a feudal enterprise." It's like, wait, isn't that like the whole reason all these people commit like 40 murders a week for this guy? Like, what are they doing this for then?
My conspiracy theory, and this is actually an original theory, a Blake Hammer theory I just made up, is that every single person in Frank's gang is an undercover operative for police, FBI, someone, and they're all just snitching on other undercover operatives to each other.
So nobody gets in trouble.
Yeah. So that's why there's never any case, because they're all just working against each other for the state.
Dude, that actually there's a real life version of that. The FBI set up like a honeypot for, I think it was like child or something.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if we could even say that on YouTube, so I might just bleep that. But you guys can
Yeah.
put together what I'm talking about. They're trying to catch
Adult
these.
films with actors.
I don't think that's much better. But either way, they're trying to put together like a ring to catch pedophiles. And
Yeah. Now you cannot say that on YouTube either.
okay, well, we'll just anyway. They're trying to catch bad people, and essentially they create this honeypot, like Discord chat or something, and are like pushing hard to get these people involved. Like the guys that they're talking to, most of which are just like, no, I don't want to be doing any of this, and they're like pushing them hard to do it. But that was like two of the guys. The other like 60 were all other FBI agents in different parts of the country that thought that they were catching other criminals. It's like they all literally ran each other in circles for like a year.
Dude, I feel like every single day they're like, today's the day they finally drop an image in the chat and we arrest them. They just don't do it.
They're going back and forth, being like, send pics. No, you first. No, you first. Did they do that for like a year, and then they eventually said it? They're like, I got you, motherfucker.
Another thing, the scene where Frank is confronting Billy because he thinks that he's the rat, was the most improvised scene by Jack Nicholson in the movie. And I just love when he goes behind Billy and goes, shh, to no one in particular, and then just blows smoke in his face.
Yeah, I mean, he was just so good in this movie as just like a creepy asshole. He played it perfectly, and it turns out that Jack Nicholson, for whatever reason, is really good at improvising being an insane person.
I don't know of any sane person who seemingly more likely knows what it's like to be. I mean, his career-defining role arguably is
The Shining.
I was gonna say One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Any of those two,
but either way,
yeah,
just being a crazy guy, a wild and crazy guy.
Yeah, with great fashion sense, apparently.
I mean, him as the Joker was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
he was
true.
pimping out there. But anyway, back to Jack Nicholson in this movie. So he shows up again, covered in blood. Billy knows that there's a tail on him. Billy has great intuition. I think he picks up pretty much everything that's being thrown at him the entire movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's like one of the only people that I feel like I wrote it down somewhere that he's basically the only person with a brain in this movie. Like Matt Damon and Costello, the way that they interact, and I guess it's sort of excused by the fact that he's an FBI informant, but again, he's not a cop informant, and the cops don't even know, so he should still be getting arrested by cops for some of these things. Like the way he runs it is basically just every single time he learns a piece of information, passing it on to Costello. Like at a certain point, dude, they're gonna put it together. Like I don't know how they don't do it sooner, but
how many times do you think he could have said, Dad, I'm not gonna be home for supper, loudly in front of the entire department before they start to catch on that that's code for something?
It's like every single time they tell him about an operation, it goes poorly. It seems like, and again, there's only like 12 fucking people in this unit, dude. Like, it can't be that hard to figure out who you told certain stuff.
I mean, and what's not talked about in the movie either, Berrigan is an undercover cop. He doesn't get caught either. So 1 out of every 6 guys in a 12-person unit are working actively against the department, and the other 10 cannot figure that out.
Yep. Not exactly the most competent guys. Also, I think it's soon after that is when we have Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg get into a little bit of a tizzy. And I just wrote down that Matt Damon is such a little bitch when he fights Dignam.
I mean, again, two sides of the same coin. Billy punches Dingham. Dingham punches Colin. Man.
But he's just like, I can investigate you. I can investigate anybody I want. And it's like, all right, dude. Like, if I was someone else in that office, I'd be like, all right, shut the fuck up, bro.
I also love when Digham's indignant about how they're treating him, and they go, "World needs plenty of bartenders. 2 weeks
Yeah,
with pay."
with pay. He's like,
Yeah.
good. Which is also like kind of crazy that they'd be like, oh yeah, you just assaulted another officer and are telling me you're not going to listen to my authority and you'd rather resign. Take 2 weeks vacation with pay.
Yeah, dude. Some high level police work there, and they're like, "We just owned him."
So soon after this, I guess I was too locked in for the confrontation, so I didn't write anything else. So we should definitely talk about it
I
before I get to
had
this.
limited notes for this. I even though I've seen this movie before, it is one of the most gripping third acts of any movie I can remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And the payoff was not at all what I expected it to be, but somehow more satisfying than you would expect it to be with both character storylines.
Yeah, so Queenan goes to meet with Costigan.
Yeah,
Is it Charlie or whatever Sheen?
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen goes to meet DiCaprio so they can debrief, and Matt Damon gets the genius idea to send Costello's guys there, so it looks like Queenan is a bad dude. But
Yeah,
also, if he had picked, what's it called? If he had picked a place with more than one exit, his entire plan would have failed.
I mean, they would have at worst case with his plan though, they would have at least had now suspicion that Queenland was working with them. So
Is it Queenan or Queen Lynn?
I believe it is Queen Lynn. No, I am wrong. It is Queenan. Wow.
Yeah. So he goes to meet him, and obviously everything goes to shit.
Yeah,
Uh, he gets thrown off a fucking roof in one of the most brutal
that
death
was
scenes.
tough.
I feel like, yeah, like Leonardo. I also like how he doesn't slam in front of him, and Leo just sees that. It's like, because I feel like in real life this would happen. Like when
Yeah.
the body is getting close enough, he sort of like instinctively knows something's coming, and then looks and just sees it explode, and then a comical amount of blood sprays all over him.
Yeah, I mean they worked the rated R rating in that scene, dude. I think they'd have 1 gallon more. The MPA would have lost their shit.
Yeah, and then they have Matt Damon telling the guys not to pursue the mobsters, which they of course do, and end up getting shot and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like that's yet another moment where it's like Matt Damon is the worst spy of all time. He was like, follow this guy to a location that basically only I know about. Suddenly, the mob shows up to that location, and then he's like, "Don't arrest any of them. Don't pursue."
Well, I mean, Billy almost gets caught at that point too, and I think this was really his only fuck up. Is the guy who's dying from the whole confrontation? Delahunt is like, why did you show up to 344 Wash when I gave you the wrong address, 314 Wash? He could have just been like, I went late. He's like, why did you show up late? He could have just been like, I went to the wrong address and I came over here because you texted
And
me the
heard
wrong
yelling
address.
or something.
Yeah.
Like,
But I guess which understandable, he's probably on a shit ton of Valium and his brain is just cooked. But just under pressure, can't come up with a valid excuse. And then Delahunt just dies, which is the best luck he has the entire movie.
Yeah. Do you think Delahunt was actually an undercover cop?
Yeah.
Because they do say, like, Jack Nicholson, who obviously his brain is, melting and he's paranoid, is like, they say he's a cop, so we won't look for a cop or whatever. But it's like that actually would be kind of a genius strategy on the policeman's part. And apparently, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but apparently there's an extended version of that scene that actually leans more towards him not being a cop and just literally dying right before he gets the chance to say anything to the other guys. I think it's good they cut that and like leaned more into the he was actually an undercover cop angle, because it's sort of like, showing the cost of like all these undercover cops are getting beaten or killed. But I did think that was like an interesting thing where you could kind of interpret it either way as the movie stands.
I mean, I generally hate ambiguity in this movie, but I think Scorsese does a really good job of somehow tying up all the loose ends that I would actually
You
want.
hate ambiguity.
I don't, dude. I don't like when I have to guess what happens at the end. Like
You like to be
I,
told.
I was not a fan of the ending of The Sopranos. That's
You want to be
that's all I'll say
told
about that.
how to think about things.
I mean, I just want the movie to put a nice bow on things for me. I don't like when I have to guess what happened.
So when Delahunt's dying, he says, "Tell me why you didn't tell nobody."
Yeah,
Or no, or does he say, "Tell me why I didn't tell nobody"? I think
I
that's
don't know. I didn't write that
I
anything
think
down.
that's probably, maybe I just misheard it this time because I'm remembering now. I think that's what it is because he's basically saying like, "Guess why I didn't tell anybody? Because I'm also a fucking cop and now I'm about to die." But then like you said, he gets the most well timed death of all time. Um, I don't know what I missed in between this, but I did like the old Gwendolyn Costello when Frank's on the phone and hangs up and is like, "Oh, I got a hot on," and she's like, "You sure it's me and not all that talk about crawling up men's asses?"
Well, dude, she in that scene is reading a book, and the name of the book is Getting Pregnant. I think you have to learn how to do that.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't think it's gonna work, lady. You do drugs all day, and your husband is 75.
Yeah, he also does drugs all day.
Yeah, you two. I don't know if what section of that book touches on it, but there's probably a section that says "Don't do cocaine 24/7."
I don't know, dude. I think that's only the advanced
and
version.
and be 50 years younger than your husband.
So at this point in the movie, Frank's brain is just melting. He tells his men, "When I tell you to dump a body in the marsh, you dump it in the marsh, not where some guy from John Hancock goes every Thursday to get a
To get a
blowjob."
fucking blowjob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a great one. I also like how Fitzy, like, unprompted is like, I don't understand it. I was doing it all night. We're
Yeah.
gonna put it there. It's like, bro, you're making yourself sound bad. Like, I wouldn't have assumed you did a shitty job unless you just spent the last 5 minutes trying to convince me unprompted that you didn't do a shitty job. And also, we have Matt Damon taking out Queenan's phone, which is
Yeah.
still covered in blood and clearly still evidence that like
I
other
love this
people
sequence.
are going to interact with. And like it's a great scene, like tension wise and them going back and like, don't get me wrong, it's a great scene, but yet another example of Matt Damon just being god awful at his job. Like he picks it up and gets the blood on him and his fingerprints in Queenan's blood on the phone.
Matt Damon was a personality hire at the police department, dude.
He was a he was a DEI hire because they had no other gay guys in the
Exactly, dude. And Ellerby was just like, he has such a funny sense of humor, pretending to be a homo.
He's got an immaculate record. I've got an immaculate record.
Yeah.
We'll be boys. He's like my son.
So at this point, another great needle drop. Shipping Up from Boston plays, which now has been played into oblivion, but I'm sure at the time was pretty fucking cool.
It also plays like 3 times in this movie and works every time.
Yeah, I think they do it in the town too, and it works there.
Yeah, I mean, it is just like one of those. It's basically the anthem of Boston at this point.
Yeah. New York's
and
anthem
also
is better.
Costello, when he decides, or DiCaprio, when he decides to go on the run, packs drugs, a gun, and 3 shirts, and nothing else
That's
into
all you
his
need,
suitcase.
man.
And I was like, damn, dude, like if you were on the run from the mob right now and you can only pack 3 things, what do you think they would be?
That's a tough one. A lot of money, straight cash, homie. So that's one. I would say probably my car keys. So I have my car. So that's 2.
I don't think we're counting your car keys, dude.
Okay.
Like
And
my
then-
phone and my car keys and the pants I'm wearing. So that's 3 things.
Okay. So stuff outside of that. I would say probably a change of clothes. I would say maybe here's an unorthodox one. I would get a hair dye kit because if I need to quickly camouflage myself.
If you could only bring 3 things, you're doing hair dye kit over underwear?
Well, I said a change of clothes.
No. He packed 3 shirts, so you get like 1, or
Fine.
you could.
Change of underwear, hair dye kit, and a Glock.
Yeah, I think I've met things that you have, but I still respect the effort
How do you know I don't have all three of those things?
because I do.
Well, let me tell you, I
Like the
definitely have
hammer's
one
a
of
man
them.
of mystery.
I will not reveal which of
It's
them,
the hair dye kit for sure.
but I have at least one of those things. Yeah, the viewers can't see it, but I'm actually blonde under my hat right now, but only the middle stripe of my head.
So what is it after the oh right, so when oh damn, this is already in the final confrontation. So if you have anything between where we just were in the final confrontation.
Well, before they have the Frenchie and Colin of the or Frank and Colin of the final confrontation, Frenchie gets shot at in his car, drives his car into a flaming pile, and is just like fuck it, and just shoots himself
Shoots
in the
himself in the
mouth.
head. Yeah, that was such a sick moment for him.
I was like,
I
that's
was
pretty
like,
badass.
yeah, he was like, it was also one of the only like realistic reactions in the entire movie. Is like, yeah, dude, if I was in that situation, I would just be like,
I'm
fuck it,
not
I'm out.
waiting to explode, dude. I'm going
Yeah.
out on my own terms.
Well, so I did write down that the gun sound when Frenchie gets shot
Yeah,
is like surprisingly accurate. The rest of them in the movie I feel like are fine, but they're just sort of standard movie schlock.
yeah.
But the like specific like type of sound that happens when he gets shot was sounds like they literally put a microphone somewhere and then shot a bullet at it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, and I mean the last line that Frank says, well, also last great fashion choice. He has a shirt that just says Irish. That's
Yeah.
dude. Imagine like you go to work and you just see a Chinese guy and he just has a shirt that says Chinese.
That would be so sick,
That would
dude.
be
Or no,
so
you go to
dope.
work and everyone's wearing a shirt that just says their race on it. Or like their country they're from.
Except for the one of the executives, his shirt just says Jewish.
So I did like at this final confrontation that when Matt Damon is getting pissed at Costello for and shoots him for being a rat to the FBI,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You fucking rat." I was like, dude, literally everyone in this movie is just a rat who's mad at someone else for being a rat.
Not Dignam and Queenan, dude.
Well, yeah, okay. The two homies, they avoided it. And also Ellerby, dude.
I also think one of, if not Jack Nicholson's last line in the movie is Colin going, "You're an FBI informant," and he goes, "Of course I
course.
am. Grow up."
I did think that was a great line where it's like, dude, he's 75. He's a 75-year-old mobster who kills people on a weekly basis. What the fuck do you think? Like, at a certain
So,
point, you have to know that he's got protection. And then Jack Nicholson, I wrote this down, just absolutely fumbles a shot at Matt Damon from like 3 feet away at most. Like literally, all he had to do was point in the direction of Matt Damon, and he would have hit him, and he misses.
well, his brain melted before his body could. So, in the aftermath of Colin's big win, both him and Billy think they're finally going to get a clean break until Billy realizes who he is, and then sends his, I think, soon to be wife. I don't think they're married at the time, Madeline. The tapes of Colin talking on the phone with Frank, and it just made me think. I can't think of a single Scorsese movie where the main couple work out.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the parts of his movies that I'm generally focused on, but I can't think of one either. I also, this is strange, but in my like memory, the way she finds out is that package that he gives her and says, "Don't open this unless something happens to me."
Yeah,
But it's actually just like a random letter he sent to Sullivan, which
yeah.
is or like packet, which is like, does the movie ever address the thing he gave her and said to only open if something happens to him? Like, I don't think they do.
My best guess is that it was also something like that, and it's basically kind of signaling to the viewer like no matter what happens, like it was only a matter of
He's
time before
cooked.
Colin got fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so and they have their. I barely wrote anything for the scene because I was honestly just too engrossed in what was going on. But essentially, Colin drags him up to the same rooftop or sorry, Billy
Yeah.
drags Colin up to the same rooftop where Queenan dies. He has his uh the police officer Berrigan and then his boy from the academy, who I do want to credit that character's name. It is Brown. He's a black guy, and his name is Brown.
Very Boston of them to have
Very
the only
boss.
black character in the movie be named Brown. Uh, it also, I did write down like that is pretty much the only weak link in this movie, acting wise, is that guy.
That
Because
guy's also
when
a piece of shit in real life.
did not know that,
He
but
hit
when he
on
says
like a
like,
15-year-old Lindsay Lohan. Like this is
"Oh,
something
that's
that's
not
on
great,"
camera.
oh
So
shit,
yeah,
he as Frank would call him, he's a pederast.
yeah.
But yeah, which I don't know if that's a word. But his line when he's like, "We were classmates at the academy together," like it's delivered so poorly.
I think he is of actors that have more than like 2 lines. I think he is the worst actor by a wide margin in the
Oh,
movie.
100%. And also, it annoys me that like when Costigan realizes that Matt Damon's character is the rat, he doesn't just announce that to the like whole office. Like he could literally just pick the thing up and be like, "I was undercover. I made this with the mob. It's covered in their fingerprints and full of their information. It's in his office. That would only happen if he was the guy working for Costello." Like I understand the whole thing is like he doesn't know who to trust, but he knows that not literally every person in there is a rat. Like he knows that it's basically just one guy.
Well, also, dude, at this point in the movie, he's so fucking paranoid and probably on so much drugs that he probably thinks everyone around him is a rat or watching him in some
Yeah,
way.
that's true.
Like, we're like, I mean, this is a Scorsese classic, but just the characters descending into madness. We're like an hour into him doing that, which in Scorsese time is like a decade.
Yeah. And when he's confronting him on the roof, I like how he's like, "Yeah, what do you think about that? Costello trusted me more than anyone. You," and then drops a hard F bomb
Oh,
for
yeah.
for
Just
no
for effect.
reason. Yeah.
I also do love that after Billy gets shot by Berrigan, he's like, "We're in this together, Colin. I got you," and he just shoots him.
Who? Oh! I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah,
yeah.
I did that. Like ending bit is so crazy on the first watch. Like
I was in legit shock the first time I watched this movie, and that happened.
when the door opens and DiCaprio just immediately gets popped in the head.
And then just the minute follow up of everyone who isn't Colin in that scene getting shot in the head.
Yeah. I mean that I was the other like two characters, I was like, there's they barely have any lines, like who really gives a fuck, but Leonardo DiCaprio just getting blasted. I feel like the early 2000s, it wasn't off screen, but it is still kind of similar to No Country for Old Men,
Haven't
where
seen that movie. Don't spoil it.
oh, well, you fucking idiot. What are you waiting for, dude? That movie's like 20 years old.
I might watch that this weekend. So
Are you kidding me? That's such a good movie.
I know a little bit about that movie, but I need to get back on this one because I cannot have that one spoiled. So at this point, Colin, it's kind of, I don't know why I thought this watching it, but it kind of reminds me of the Tupac Biggie feud where they
What?
spend all this time beefing with each other. One of them finally dies, and the other one kind of starts to go on a victory lap. And before they can really enjoy it, they also get murked.
Yeah. I do think that it's great when oh, actually, I should go back a little bit. When Matt Damon is getting arrested
Oh,
by
yeah.
DiCaprio, there's a part where I don't remember what the line was, but very clearly his mouth is not moving while he's arresting him, and there's still dialogue happening. And I was like, you guys really couldn't just do another take where he says the line, like you had to ADR that one in. I love, what is this? A citizen's arrest? Blow me.
All right,
So Colin is pretending to be sad at Billy's funeral. He recommends him for the Medal of Merit. And
Matter of merit.
the Medal of Merit. And his Madeline's pretty much fed up with his bullshit at this point. Even dogs don't fuck with them. He goes in, and I actually learned this after watching the movie. The items in his grocery bag at the end of the movie very closely mirror what Frank puts in his bag at the start.
Oh,
of the movie.
yeah, I didn't think about that.
So full circle moment, and then who but Dignam is there, back from his leave, although he's probably still on leave, and his like undercover shoes and all that shit, and he just murks him in the department. And then the most obvious CGI rat of all time.
Shoes.
He has undercover shoes, dude.
I don't think those weren't like his shoes. They were
His
like
body
it's like
snatching shoes.
it's like a hairnet, but like for your shoes.
Yeah, it's his body
like
snatching
CSI.
shoes.
His undercover shoes is great. We've skipped past a couple of the things I had here, but the other dude who was also undercover for Costello right before he gets popped, being like, "We got to take care of each other, you understand?" I was
Yeah,
like, "This
that's what I'm
guy's
saying.
retarded. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Why would he
Why
tell
the
him
hell
that?
does he? But like, why does he think that this is gonna go well for him? Like, he's clearly the weak link in this scenario. Also, he just murdered Costello. Like, why would you assume that you could choose him? And then you did mention the funeral. There's a great little moment of Madeline kind of symbolically choosing DiCaprio in the end
Yeah.
over Damon by like looking at his photo. I thought that was good. Um, Also, I just thought this was funny, but when they're doing like the 21 gun salute, and the guy who's directing them says like uh like half right face or something like that, which is like turning like half instead of all the
Mm-hmm.
way or something. None of the guys move because I'm sure they like 80-yard that or were just sort of, winging it. But it was just so funny to me that like imagine you're at a funeral, the guy's like fire, and they're all like.
I mean, it's funny you say that. One thing it said on with this movie is Scorsese actually wrapped up like production on like post production of this movie like a few weeks before release. So
Damn,
it really was down to the wire.
that
Which
CGI rat really took a
yeah,
lot of time, dude.
that took like half the post production process.
It
Was
was
that
like
10-second sequence?
I think we probably wrote down basically the same thing. I was like, this is the most obvious CGI rat. Well, I think the rat was real, but they CGI'd it onto the pole. And I was like, if you guys were gonna film a rat on green screen and then CGI it into here, why didn't you just film a real one running on that pole? Like, can't be that fucking hard.
Dude, it was a 2000s mandate. There has to be at least one poorly placed CGI prop in every single movie.
Yeah.
So that was Scorsese fulfilling his mandate here. The last thing I'll say in terms of kind of plot shit is that I thought it was interesting that both Colin and Billy die, but neither Queenan or Costello ever actually discovers the identity of the rat that they're looking for.
True. Yeah, they get either thrown off a roof or shot in the chest before that happens. So
Yeah.
are you ready? Do you have any last behind the scenes notes you feel are particularly important, or do you want to get into segments?
This one, not a ton. I will say one thing that's interesting with this movie is that I do have some casting what ifs, but that's its own kind of question. The one note I do have is that so this movie is not an original movie. It's
Mm-hmm.
based on a movie called Infernal Affairs, which is a 2002 Hong Kong crime drama. However, I almost would say it's an original movie because Scorsese did not watch the movie until after he finished making The Departed, and he also didn't even know that this wasn't an original screenplay when he signed on to direct.
I don't know if
Um,
that's really that related because he didn't make the screenplay. So like,
no, but it was his direction of the screenplay is a big influence in the movie.
okay, that's fair.
And
Yeah.
also a lot of the Jack Nicholson stuff, like I guarantee you that was not in Infernal Affairs.
Yeah.
The other big change from Infernal Affairs is that Matt Damon in that movie gets away with it.
Oh, damn.
And then although that was, keep in mind, this was the Hong Kong ending. They also released this movie in mainland China. And because China are a bunch of pussies who we've now decided to bend over for and cater our movies to because we're spineless bastards.
Yeah.
Anyway, they forced
Agreed.
them to change the movie ending because they didn't want to promote criminal behavior
Yeah, if you
and
like, that's one of their
injustice.
rules is that like if there's a criminal in the movie, they have to be arrested by the Chinese government or at least a government before the end of the movie.
So in the movie, in the China ending of the movie, the character who's a stand-in for Matt Damon shoots DiCaprio, and then he immediately gets arrested.
Dude, movies in China have to be so shit. All
Yeah,
the restrictions they have, like that they literally Taskmaster in one of the Marvel movies, their whole costume like identifying thing is that they have a skull mask, and they
Yeah.
made it into some gross abomination instead of a skull because otherwise they couldn't release it in China. And it's like, think of how stupid you have to be like, yeah, like we won't allow any films in our country that have a skull in them.
Yeah, I mean, you can't bring up Winnie the Pooh in China because people made fun of President Xi and said he looked like
Oh
Winnie
yeah,
the Pooh.
I remember that.
And then the only other thing I have before we get to behind the scenes was Jack Nicholson and Ray Winstone, who's the actor who plays Frenchie, apparently did not get along at all during
Really?
the movie.
Because they're
No,
just like two old curmudgeons.
probably. I mean, I can't imagine Jack Nicholson is probably an easy person to be around on set.
Yeah, he does seem like he'd be high maintenance, let's say.
I feel like he doesn't care about most aspects of the movie, and then there are like two minor things that like he's hyper fixated on. Like he's like weirdly concerned about like what kind of fruits they're serving in catering or like some shit
He's
like
really
that.
concerned about which dildo he's going to use in the
He's like-
porn theater scene.
He's like too gray, not brown enough.
He's like, get me a selection.
And then in a weird instance of life imitating art, Leonardo DiCaprio dropped out of a movie called The Good Shepherd, which is about the early years of the CIA, to be in this movie. The person who took his role in that movie was Matt Damon.
Wait, so how did that work?
I guess they shot
Like,
scenes on a different schedule.
why did he have to drop out? If okay, well that's confusing. But let's get into segments here. So for Would You Show with the lead, I assumed the lead to just be the two main guys.
I did the two main guys and Frank.
So for Frank, no, I don't want to die, and he seems like if you have farted at the wrong moment, he would shoot you. So I was a hard no on that one. And then for the other two, I just wrote absolutely not. They're both cops.
So we have some very different takes on this one. So I'll start with the one I agreed with you on. I would not chill with Colin. I thought he was just a massive pussy.
He's just insufferable.
He'd be absolutely insufferable. Frank, in my now caveat, I also have to be old for this. So 50 years from now, when I just don't give a fuck anymore, I'm chilling with a senior who inspires in an absolute pimp wardrobe. That sounds like an awesome time.
Guy
And then
who changes his environment.
Billy, I just wrote, yup. I'm a few years removed from my fraternity days, but Billy is what I would call an auto bid.
Yeah, you would want to hang out with the guy who literally looks like he's gonna crumble into pieces at any given moment.
Dude, Billy would be impervious during lineups.
So it's exclusively that you would hang out with him at your frat.
Nah, I would get a drink or two with Billy. I was saying
what?
that, dude, Billy is a really sharp guy.
He's like
and
an
we're
edgelord,
saying
though.
No, I don't think so. Dude, edgelords don't pick up women.
Plus, he's a snitch.
He's snitching on a snitch.
What do you mean? He literally is a snitch.
He's snitching on a
job.
snitch. He's snitching on a snitch.
No, he's
He
not.
seems like a
snitching on
chill
the
boy.
entire mob.
He ain't snitch on cousin Mark or cousin Sean.
Because there was nothing to snitch about.
Cousin
He's a
Sean was doing
low-time
coke deals
drug
in front of him.
That's
Didn't
nothing,
snitch,
dude.
bro.
Saying that he's not a snitch is a preposterous take, but that's literally his entire job is to be an informant.
I mean,
What do you think a snitch is, bro?
Okay, but he's informing on an informant, so
No,
I'll
he's
give him a
not.
little- Yeah, he is. He's informing on Frank.
And also Frenchie and Fitz and Delahunt.
How do we know those guys weren't also cops?
Well, Delahunt, I guess, was. But Fitz, I think, didn't, as low as the bar is intelligence-wise to become a cop, I don't think Fitzy is meeting that bar, dude.
But yeah, I mean, I think Billy, maybe we would have to make sure no Valium around, but I think he could be a fun hang. I think he'd be very sharp. He would pick up on a lot of things. I would have him kind of informing for me.
Oh, okay. I see. So he would be
Yeah.
your snitch.
Yeah. We need a guy like that. Dude, again, I'd be like, hey, like, which of the pledges are not doing their jobs? And
Dude,
he
it
would
seems
give me
like
the rundown.
your view on him is exclusively in the lens of if he was a pledge.
He would be the best pledge of all time. I couldn't stop thinking that
I'm
while I was watching
like
the movie.
right now, would you want to be around him a lot?
I mean, honestly, someone like that at work could also be valuable. So
All right,
yeah,
well,
I would.
what about Foxiest Lady? I know we have two different takes on this one.
So I'm gonna zag on this one again.
I don't think it's a zag. I think our 30 listeners, at least half of them would be able to guess who your pick would be.
Really? Who do you think I
there's
picked?
literally two choices, and it's either
I think we
Gwen
picked
or
opposite
Madeline,
choices.
and I'm almost certain that you picked Gwen.
I did pick Gwen.
And only because like they're both attractive women, but she's an idiot, so I assumed you picked
No,
her.
she had a. First of all, way better fashion than Madeline's front BS. Madeline also, she instantly got read by a guy who's crumbling himself high on Valium. He broke her down and spit her out in like 10
God
minutes.
damn, dude.
That's not foxy at all.
Like an aggressive read on that.
That's weak bitch shit. Gwen literally saw her husband like shoot guys in front of her and do coke off of other girls' asses, and her only concern was, how do I get pregnant?
And going to choir practice.
Dude. That's a real ass lady.
I went back and forth. Don't get me wrong, but I think Madeline, first of all, is the only person with a real personality of the two in the movie, just based on lines alone, and then also like. At first, he was like, well, she's wearing a lot of uptight suits. But then there's the scene where she hooks up with DiCaprio, and I was like, oh, never mind. She's a foxy lady.
Not as foxy.
But, Gwen also had her... she had her positives, too. She was she was an enjoyer of literature and singing and babushkas.
She was a vivacious vixen, dude.
A vivacious vixen?
Oh, yeah.
A very vivacious vixen.
She also is my number 3 side character, so this is a great transition.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
damn, dude, that's high praise for someone with like 3 lines.
I mean, she was a ride or die. I think she is the most loyal woman in any Scorsese movie.
Yeah, actually, that might be true.
That's impressive. You got to get your props for that. I also love the scene where she's like with a bunch of little kids who I guess are also in the choir, and Frank just follows her in the line.
Well, also he's like, I have a date with some angels, but only the kids are wearing angel uniforms. So it's like, what exactly is it when you say it?
Group date with like Mrs. Jackson's 3rd grade class at Boston Public.
All right, so how about your top 3 side characters? Who's your number 3?
That was my number 3 is Gwen.
Oh, right. Okay, so mine was Cousin Sean.
He's my honorable mention.
He just seemed like a fun guy. He's doing coke deals with the boys, cruising around. His cousin comes straight out of the academy and tells him he wants to do drug deals, and he's like, "Are you a cop?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "All right."
He's like, "I knew you were my boy."
Yeah, like that was literally all it took for him to be convinced. Thought he was fun. So I guess I'll go to my number 2, which would be French, Mr. French.
That's also my number 2.
He's just such a sick dude. Like, obviously not a good guy, but as bad guys go, like he was a pretty cool cat.
I mean, dude, that's a ride or die dude. Like Frank was right. He really is 1 in a million or 10 million.
10 million. Yeah, I liked him from the outset, being like, there's guys you can hit and there's guys you can't hit, and I'm the guy who tells you which is which. It's like, that's a sick thing to say, dude.
He also, I will give him credit, in a movie where everyone seemingly turned on each other, I don't think he wavered on Frank a single time.
No, he literally got blasted trying to get Frank out of the deal. So he's one of the few non-snitches in this movie.
He is a literal ride or die.
Yeah. All right, so who's your number 1?
I mean, he better be the thumbnail of this video. I'm going Ellerby, dude. He like half the lines he said were so funny, and also just his complete lack of professionalism as somebody who is apparently a high-ranking official in the FBI was both appalling and awesome.
I want to give Fitzy an honorable mention because I think nearly everything he says in this movie is hilarious. Like, I don't know if he has a single line that's meant to be taken seriously. And so it's literally just him saying retarded stuff, and then in other scenes standing in the background menacingly, but like, it's hard to take him seriously. He would have been my number 1, but I think it's the first time we've had 2 people in the same slots, but Ellerby also, I think, deserves the thumbnail, so I'll give him the number 1 spot.
Yeah, and credit to Ellerby. Unlike Alec Baldwin, he did not accidentally shoot the wrong person in this movie.
Yeah, he just beat the shit out of one of the camera operators for the police. But who hasn't done that at a work function?
I don't know, man. If I ever get mad at my job, I just go over to my coworker's cubicle, ask them to come stand in the hallway with me, and then beat them up in the middle of the cubicle. Just an average day at work. An average day in the cubes.
An average day in the... I thought you were saying an average day in the pubes. Just down in the jungle with the boys. All right, so who's your movie off-screen MVP?
I mean, this is a no-brainer for me. It was Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, I put William Monahan. I don't really think it's like like a hot debate either way. I think both, like, the screenplay was pretty much perfect and the direction was pretty much perfectly executed. Like, both guys just hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, Scorsese was at his most Scorsese in this movie. That's actually a question I have for you: is what do you think is the most Martin Scorsese thing about this movie?
Probably everybody being a piece of shit. That seems like a common thread in his movies, or um just Leonardo DiCaprio's existence. He likes him a lot. Actually, I think he's probably been in less movies with Scorsese than Tarantino. Maybe it's the same. I don't
He's
know.
been in what, 2 Tarantino movies?
Yeah, at least.
He's been in 3 at least that I can think of. He was in this movie, Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, and
Actually,
Shutter Island.
4, The Aviator and
Shutter
Killers of the
Island.
Flower Moon, and Shutter Island. So 5.
So 5. Holy shit.
At
Okay,
least
so
off
there,
the top
yeah,
of my
there you
head,
go.
probably 1 or 2 more were missing.
What did you
But
think it was?
I mean,
Oh, the
I
coke and strippers in the first 5 minutes or whatever.
I was gonna say, actually, we haven't touched on this one yet. The Rolling Stones needle drop immediately starting the movie, very Scorsese,
Yeah, yeah.
very Scorsese. I actually was thinking about it. I do think Scorsese is my number one director ever.
Yeah, I think he's come up in my rankings than where he used to be. I don't know if he'd even be in my top 3, but that's just because it's a very contentious list of people. I mean, like, Nolan and Tarantino are basically locks for in the top 3, so there's really only one spot left. And I feel like on a movie by movie basis, I might like Edgar Wright movies more consistently, but he also has way fewer of them, so that's sort of a thing to consider. Like, I watched like half of Killers of the Flower Moon, was like, this is not excellent. Uh
I don't know, dude. I've a lot of other people. I have not seen the movie, so I can't really weigh in. But I will say, everyone else who I've talked to who has seen the movie really enjoyed it.
I mean, it was very well made, and I didn't watch it at a great time. Like, I was tired as fuck, and it's, a 3 hour long movie, but that's not exactly action packed.
Well, that'll
Um,
be a podcast episode in what, like 8 to 9 years.
Cohen brothers is another pair that I
I
feel like are pretty consistently great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's a lot. I honestly, I don't even feel 100% that I can even weigh in on the best director debate, just because there's all of the directors we're listing. I've seen some, but not all of their movies. David Fincher, Paul
Hmm.
Thomas Anderson, of course, Steven Spielberg are ones
Yeah,
I think all should be shout out, and then Kubrick, obviously.
I just
Um,
could not give it to Paul Thomas Anderson because I fucking hated One Battle After Another.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I love Boogie Nights. Brian De Palma, underrated guy too.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of guys that could be kind of its own podcast. Maybe we'll talk about that more at the end of the year. But and then if we go back to, I'd say, like, golden era Hollywood, old Hollywood, I don't even know who like the top guys there are. So it's hard for me to really make a
Yeah.
definitive statement on that.
All
I
right. So, who
think
was your, or not who? What was your most memeable moment in The Departed?
so. This, my choice for this and my 2 honorable mentions are all from the same character, which is of course Frank. I just loved when Frank goes behind Billy, makes the face, and then blows smoke in his face. I think the meme caption for that one would be, when my parole officer asked me if I'm off drugs. And then the honorable mentions I had were him walking into the bar covered in blood and him whipping out his strap on.
Yeah, I did. So I did the beat down where he's beating the Italians and it's playing the no no song, the no 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 no. You know that one?
Oh yeah.
Because that was like in the early 2000s. There was like a viral trend, which they did in The Office, of people making like a long take thing of like all their friends singing parts of that song and like doing thing. I don't know. I'll try and put a clip if I can, but like that was like a viral. It was sort of like the Harlem Shake. Like everybody was making a version of that. So me, when I was watching that, I was just imagining that someone like posted that to YouTube as their sing along video. It's just him fucking beating the shit out of people. And I was like, imagine like you have a compilation of those, like a Harlem Shake compilation and a No No song compilation, and then randomly in the middle, that's one of them.
That's pretty fucking badass, dude. And speaking of badass, my best quote, I think probably the biggest takeaway I had from this movie was Ellerby's lesson on marriage. Marriage is an important part of getting ahead. It lets people know you aren't a homo, and it lets people know at least someone can stand the son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wrote more quotes for this movie than any of the ones we've done so far.
I would say maybe Superbad is ahead of this for me, but it's pretty close.
Like no ticky, no laundry. It's just an
That's an
all-time
all-timer.
Jack Nicholson quote.
Bruce Lee and the Karate Kids is just hilarious too.
I tell you, Mr. Costello, I'd like to squeeze some fucking money out of it. That I thought was like an all-timer. Let's not cry over spilled guineas.
I forgot about that one.
That's just a great
That's
one.
An all-timer.
In this archdiocese, God don't run the bingo. I think my first time I watched it was "Who the fuck are you? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy." I was like, that's such a good line. I can't pick between them, so I'm just gonna leave those that I listed as all in contention for my favorite quote.
I did not write down this quote, but it should be mentioned before we wrap. There's the opening scene with Dignam. There's a point where him and DiCaprio go back and forth, and they like nail every masshole insult and comeback in like rapid succession in like a 30-second sequence. I just thought
it's like, how's your mother? Oh, she's tired from fucking my father.
Yeah.
That's how it ended, but I just thought that was like, oh, these guys, a couple of old school dudes. They know how to bust each other's chops.
They've had a lifetime of busting balls. Too long, too short, or just right? What's the verdict there?
I mean, I thought this was pretty much a perfect movie, so I don't think there was anything in this movie that really needed to be cut out. Oh, shit.
It usually grinds my gears when movies go this length, but I think Scorsese has more than earned the right to make movies that are 2.5 hours long. And I thought it was honestly the perfect runtime. He is like genuinely, probably I can count on one hand the amount of people that I would consistently tolerate that length from. And he's one of the guys who's in the 3-hour club. This is 2.5, but he could have made it a half hour longer, and I probably still would have loved it. So,
yeah, I think our movie rating is, if I had to guess, the same on this one. And I think
I have a few questions
alert.
Before that. So,
oh, okay, I sprinkled mine in throughout the scenes, so we could just knock yours out.
Well, real quick before I get to my real tough one, what do you think Frank's best wardrobe item was?
I mean, I thought all the stuff he wore was kind of horrendous, but I thought the leopard print tie with like a regular suit jacket and white shirt was a hell of a combo.
I would say it was the bucket hat and sunglasses indoors.
That's true.
Chinese
He was looking like a cool Australian guy in the no ticky, no laundry scene.
The infamous scene, and then I'm going to read you some casting what ifs. These are all people who either turned down or had to drop out of roles in the movie. 5 total, actually. And I want you to tell me which of these 5, and I'm not even sure who I would choose. If you had to cast that actor instead of the actor who actually played the role, who would you pick? So we have Mel Gibson as Ellerby. We have Robert De Niro as Queenan. We have Ray Liotta as Dignam. We have Brad Pitt as Colin. And we have Al Pacino as Frank Costello.
I think it would be Robert De Niro as Queenan, because I think that matches the character the best. I think those other ones, the person they went with played it better than I think those people would have. But I think that role seems very clearly made for Robert De Niro.
I will say, dude, that was my exact answer. The only other thing I will say is I do think Brad Pitt, who actually produced the movie, would have been really good as Colin, just because I know from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that him and DiCaprio have really good chemistry. I just feel like Matt Damon, and I do like Matt Damon. I think he's a really great actor, but I think, and I actually seems like not a piece of shit in real life, but
Yeah.
he is a lot better at playing an unlikable character than I think
And
Brad
like a
Pitt
nerdy,
is.
like straight cut kind of guy.
Yeah,
Like Brad Pitt, for lack of a better way to put it, Brad Pitt is too cool to
Brad
play
Pitt has
Colin.
too much of an edge to be Colin. He could have
Yeah.
maybe been DiCaprio's part, but then we're making kind of a misstep there, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I think DiCaprio was the best possible choice for that role as well. Anyway, to wrap things up here, I think this is maybe the first movie where we both have the same rating. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave this one a 10 out of 10 as well. It's definitely our first 10 out of 10.
Yeah, first
like
one
I could
probably for a very long time.
I would be open to a debate of like if someone was like, yeah, this isn't my favorite movie or in my top movies, like that's very subjective, but I feel like calling this anything else but a 10 out of 10 would be kind of a crazy take.
I can see someone saying it's not my favorite Scorsese movie, it's not my favorite DiCaprio movie, it's not my favorite Jack Nicholson movie, whatever. I People arguing that this is a bad movie, like what is your taste in films? Are you watching
Yeah.
Ponyo every day? Like,
Yeah.
come on, dude. I mean, this movie ran, and this is how I know it's a great movie. It won Best Picture. It's well regarded on Letterboxd, which is very rare for the two to have overlap. Film nerds like it. People who've seen like 5 movies ever like it. I just feel like it's Scorsese just absolutely delivering on everything that he's capable of.
Yeah.
And
I've never heard someone say they don't like this movie.
I mean,
is rare.
I would go as far as to say is if you say this isn't a great movie, then I don't want to hear your other takes on movies.
I'd be curious to hear them because they're probably comically bad takes, but
Yeah.
I would not have any trust in your taste in movies if you think this movie's bad.
I mean, just to quickly go over what I think worked here, I think the directing was immaculate. The screenplay was perfect. I don't think there's a wasted scene. Even things that we point out are maybe unlikely, there's a logical explanation within the confines of what the script shows that could be used to explain
like
it.
all the silly stuff is well within the range of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. There's not a lot of suspension of disbelief to really get into this movie. I also would say that very accurate portrayal of Boston.
As someone who's never lived there and has been there 3 times.
Yeah, maybe 4, but I know some people from Boston. I'll say that. And then I think the performances. I mean, Matt Damon, 10 out of 10 performance. DiCaprio, 10 out of 10 performance. Jack Nicholson, I thought absolutely stole the show in this movie. I thought he was the best performance. He showed why he's one of the GOATs. I think him and De Niro go kind of toe for. I go Pacino in there as well, toe for toe. I mean, all 3 of them, and even Danny DeVito, have had 40, 50 plus year careers as A-listers. And I mean, there's a reason for that. Like, no one else could do what Jack Nicholson did in this movie. And I don't mean of people his age. I don't think I can think of another actor from any time period that could do that performance.
Yeah, he just has that creepiness to him that works so well with like the character.
It's creepiness in a way that's somewhat gripping, where you want to actively see what he's doing next, as appalled as you are with his behavior.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is a successful trip for The Departed. What do we have up next here? I don't remember.
So we're taking a trip down the road to the Roadhouse.
Oh, I know you're gonna like this one.
I am going to tell the audience right now. I am going to have a much higher rating for that movie than Matt.
I was about to say I'm suspicious that I may not enjoy this movie very much, but
I'm not going to rule out something that a lot of audience members are probably going to criticize me for, but you'll have to tune in next week to see what that is.
Here's get some more hammer takes.
Oh yeah,
hammer in the house, dude.
I mean, this week I would say my takes were pretty lukewarm. I think pretty much everyone who is someone whose opinion that is respected by mainstream society enjoys this movie.
Yeah.
So
Definitely not
I
a
think
controversial film.
no, I think next week I'll have an opportunity to get some hot takes in. But I will say this is Matt Grayson on my left on the screen. I'm Blake Hammer. This is the Smash Cut Podcast. Stay smashed. That's a review.